listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
So after a short pause for proceedings to continue on here at the IAME European Series at Mariembourg in Belgium following an accident during the Senior X30 race for the Heat A and D, we are ready to go racing again as well. To explain to you what the format is now, we have been given official word by the doctors who attended the scene for both of the drivers, and that the official word is that both drivers are okay and no major injuries, which is fantastic news and really great to hear considering the circumstances. So we are now going to restart the race in the order that the red flag flew in the previous race. So that will restart from the order that the drivers were in when they crossed the line at the end of lap 2. There will be a rolling start of 1 lap, and then 9 laps more of the race will continue. So it will be as the race was when the red flag flew, basically, and the race will continue with the remaining drivers. But we have official word now from the medical team that both drivers involved in the accident, Henke Kalteren and Enzo Giraud, are absolutely okay, and that is really good news to hear. A bit of a shock to the system, but well done to all of the marshals, the officials, and all of the people at the Royal Automobile Club of Belgium. They got us through that one without a scratch, so very, very good to hear, and good to see that procedure was maintained. Well handled by everybody at RGMMC and the Royal Automobile Club of Belgium, and it's great to see that our meeting is going to get back on time once again. Now, obviously, we're a bit delayed as a result of that red flag, so we were rather hoping by now, about sort of 10 minutes ago, we should have started the juniors qualifying Heat 5. So what's going to have to happen now is that there's obviously going to need to be as smooth a transition from each session to the next for the remainder of the day. So we're going to have to go through each session in particular order with as little time between each session as possible to try and make up some of the time lost. But very good news to hear that both of the drivers involved in that incident, Henke Kalteren and Enzo Giraud, are in essence perfectly okay. A little bit shaken, but that is the good news. So what that means now then from the restart is that we're going to see Ruben Moya will start the race from the front of the grid. Sean Butcher is going to go off second position from Nicolas Pico and Henke Waldschmidt. Ali Akabi was in fifth position at the time of the red flag, so it'll be... actually, we had Moya, Butcher, Pico and Ravenscroft in the top 4. Then Ali Akabi and Henke Waldschmidt, Masatora Wada and Jordan Brown-Nutley. Then Robin Knutson and Danny Curl from Sebastian Degrand, Ben Fires, Owen Byatt, Levi Luntecanto and Martin Hebet. Then Stefan Planchap, Jana Guvarts. Then in 18th will be Milan Petele from Camille Donic, Manel Galoflatone, Louis Westover and Roman Leroux from Rafael Villagomez, Thanapongpang Satumnu, and obviously the retired drivers are not going to be continuing. So the ones that are missing are going to be Enzo Giraud, Henke Kalteren, and I think Lena Bühler as well, the Swiss lady. Unfortunately had some mechanical problems on that first start and did not complete the first lap. So it's sad to say that Lena Bühler, who was only half a second off in qualifying, is now unfortunately not going to be able to take up the restart. So looks like James Geidel and the team are just down there explaining the procedure to the drivers as they will get themselves underway once again. And the racing procedure is very, very simple. Basically, the karts will complete a rolling lap this time by, and they will, once the rolling lap has been completed, do an entire rolling lap of the circuit, and then at the end of that rolling lap, the race will, the lights will go out once again, and the drivers will continue on with the heat, and it will be a 9-lap race. Looks like the officials are now just calling the drivers over from the Senior X30 contingent to explain to them what the situation is and to explain to them how the race format will go. but in essence it will be a 1 lap rolling lap in the order of the race as it finished under the red flags at the end of lap 2, and then they will complete the rolling lap, and then there will be 9 laps of racing to have from the senior X30s. And then obviously, as long as everything goes according to plan, we can then just continue on with the scheduled races with as little time in between each race as possible, because I reckon in the grand scheme of things we'll probably have about 20 to 30 minutes of time to make up. But that's obviously something that cannot be helped in these situations. And very, very good work indeed, I have to say, from everybody here from the Royal Automobile Club of Belgium, keeping us all safe and sound. The Orange Army around the circuit here, fantastic group of marshals. We've also got the officials who are just keeping us abreast of what is happening. The officials are just explaining to the drivers what is happening. We had a very interesting incident in in Thursday's practice session, actually. It's worth talking about because there's been obviously a couple of grey areas that the drivers have been unsure of. In the junior practice session on Thursday, there was a lot of moving around in position under the green flag conditions, and the race officials decided enough of this. They red flagged the session and brought them all onto the back straight adjacent to the one that you're looking at, the main straight, stopped them there, explained the situation, and then asked them to walk their carts back to the holding area. Now, that was basically a way of making sure that they were all going to be okay and safe and sound and what have you, but now the drivers are obviously being given the instructions by the officials as to how this race is going to run. And with only 2 laps completed, basically, this is going to continue on and be a 9-lap race. And as we've already stated, it's going to start this race in the same positions that they were in during the red flag period. So whatever positions they were in at the red flags, that is the race order that they will restart in. And that means that Ruben Moya and Sean Butcher will be on the front row of the starting grid, but they will be single file in that formation lap. So it will not be 2 grids, 2 lines of the grids. It will be a single file start, and the race will continue as it was. So it's going to be an interesting start. Very interesting procedure now, of course, because the drivers have obviously been in the middle of a battle. They've had to come to a stop. They've obviously seen a very interesting incident out there on the circuit. Some of them will have actually seen the accident happen behind them firsthand. But rest assured, we have medical confirmation from the medics on site that both Henki Kalteren and Enzo Giraud are okay. We have had confirmation of that, which is really good news. So they can obviously return to the circuit tomorrow, in the hope that obviously they will either be participating, or if they don't get the all clear to race for safety grounds, then maybe there will be spectators. But good to hear that Enzo Giraud and Henki Kalteren, after what looked like a very nasty incident indeed, have emerged okay. So that is really, really good news. Obviously, it's very important in these situations to ascertain the extent of the problem. The protocols carried out very well indeed by the officials and the team and all of the marshals around the magnificent Karting de Fagnes International Raceway circuit here at Mariembourg in Belgium. They looked after us brilliantly, it has to be said, and very, very I'm very in awe and in admiration for what these guys do. An awful lot of work goes into it, and a humble commentator can sit here in the commentary box and call it as it is, but it's amazing when you actually watch these guys go to work when the heat of the moment is very high. The adrenaline is obviously pumping, and these guys need the best of care, and I was very, very well tended to. And considering that through all of that, we only lost 20 minutes to half an hour, that really is absolutely incredible. So very, very good work indeed, and congratulations to all of the medics and the team who carried out their procedures to the book and did it absolutely perfectly. Very well handled by everybody concerned. So we go back into the base of the action then for the remainder of the day. It's going to start getting cooler from now on, of course, because now the sun is starting to disappear behind some clouds, and we are in qualifying heat A and D, which is the 16th race of the 22 races we have to run today. So it's going to be a bit later, the programme, that we intended to, but it means that we could get some rather entertaining final races of the day as drivers are just getting themselves there in position. Ruben Moya just in deep concentration at the front of the field, as the rest of the drivers out there are obviously just getting themselves ready and back into position once again. Ruben Moya taking a quiet moment at the front end of the field. Just a quick prayer for Ruben Moya. Good to know that, these guys are very, very proud to be who they are. And Ruben Moya just getting himself started. A lot of these people very passionate about their racing. They carry their faith with them. And good to see Ruben, very comfortable in his own skin there as he gets himself ready for action. And I hope that everybody is going to get through this race again without too many incidents. And hopefully it will be a clean and very sensible start. But we are in the procedure to go racing once again. They're going to do one rolling lap in single file formation, and then they will continue the single file formation until the time the lights go out. And then when the lights go out in single file, they will be racing once again. And it will be 9 laps of the Karting de Fania International Raceway here in Mariembourg. And that obviously reduces the distance of the race down considerably. It reduces it down to an additional... I'm trying to do the maths here very, very quickly and suddenly realise that I can't because the circuit is 1,366 metres in length. We've got to take 2 of those laps off for the full distance of the remaining time in the race. And my brain is not quite able to compute that. I'm sure somebody at home is going to be able to tell me what the time is basically going to be reduced to. And somebody watching along on the live stream who'll have a calculator in their pocket will no doubt be able to give me a bit more of an update on that one. So Thomas Imborg just writing there, in comparison to France, the red flag was out faster and it's much, much better. So obviously we're always learning as we go. And really good to see, obviously the incidents at Salbreeze when we did have to bring out red flags. The situation has been assessed and worked on, and the management working very quickly there to make sure that both Henki Kalteren and Anzo Giraud were okay. And we have had confirmation from the doctors that both drivers are okay, which is really good news. So we can carry on racing then. A bit of a reminder, of course, that motorsport is dangerous, but great to see that everybody handled themselves and did their job absolutely to the letter. So we're just now waiting for the race to get started once again. It obviously has to get the all clear from everybody involved. All the drivers are in their karts. They will start their engines very shortly. And then once we get official confirmation, we will be able to go racing once again in the European Championship. And really exciting battle we are set to have when these guys go racing, because we'll have Ruben Moya from the front of the field. We will have Sean Butcher from second position. Nicolas Picot is going to be in third place. And then we are going to have Clayton Ravenscroft in fourth in front of the Jordanian racer Ali Akabi. Now we are going around under yellows for the start of the rolling lap. So a bit of a scare, but we're all right, ladies and gentlemen. We are okay. And the IAME European Series can continue here at Mariembourg. And good to see that the racing is going to be a very strong one from the off. So Nicolas Picot, Sean Butcher, Ruben Moya, Clayton Ravenscroft, Jordan Brown-Nutley, Henki Waldschmidt, Louis Westover, Ben Fires, Masatora Wada, Ali Akabi and co. will be there in position. The start of the race grid is going to be slightly different, of course, compared to the official qualifying session that we had before this, or at least the positions that there will be in the grid. But the order that they are in now is the order they were in at the red flags. So we will be able to continue racing very shortly. And this formation lap is going to be... This formation lap that we are on is going to count as the fourth lap of the race, in essence. So they have come through, and we will have, as they come through this next time by, 7 laps remaining, I believe. So we will continue racing action with what we have left. It is Ruben Moya and Sean Butcher from the front of the field. And they will be the ones who continue on through from the front. Nicolas Picot, Clayton Ravenscroft and Ali Akabi, the Jordanian, will be there in the top 5 as well. Obviously, it's going to be an interesting restart because these karts have obviously been off for a little bit of a while. They've been pushed already on the first 2 laps in race trim. So it's going to be interesting and fascinating to see who gets the best start of it. And Ruben Moya's gone for the throttle already. So we are going to get underway and racing this time by. And we will wait. They're going to go round again. They're going to go round again. So there is no green flag waved that time by, so they are going to remain under yellow flags. So they are going to go round a second time. And as far as I'm aware, this procedure is going to continue until the racing is underway cleanly and safely. They have to remember that they've got to go slow. So I think Ruben Moya just jumped the gun a little bit there. He even actually gestured to the official there, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go that soon." So the drivers just getting themselves into the position. Now I think this is going to count to the race distance because, of course, we've got what is showing up on my screens here as 4 laps completed out of 11. So there is going to be an 11-lap race, of course, and this is obviously going to count as part of that, especially if the procedure is not yet correct. It has to be done to a certain spec. So the drivers are obviously going to be working very hard to keep themselves busy around the circuit and keep up those tyre temperatures and brake temperatures. And then obviously when the green flag drops on the main straight, they will be able to go racing once again. But it is going to be Ruben Moya who leads them around ahead of the Australian Sean Butcher, the Frenchman Nicolas Picot, Britain's Clayton Ravenscroft, and in 5th position, the Jordan driver Ali Akabi. So we're just waiting for Ruben Moya to make sure everybody is in position. He's just waiting. As everybody now files up in position, he's got to wait for the moment to get started again. Everybody's still there in single file procedure. He's keeping them steady in single file, ready for the race to get underway. It's basically a full restart procedure rather than being flat on the throttle out of the final turn. So they will come through and they will go down the middle. And they will stay in the tram lines. Green flag, let's go racing. And out in front, Sean Butcher is going to follow Ruben Moya. No problem at all with 6 laps to go in this race. And already a bit of a jostle of a position as Danny Curl tries to make a move on Robin Knutson on the exit of turn 1. But the race is well and truly underway. And Ruben Moya is out in front of Sean Butcher, the Australian. 3rd position. That is a good run there from Nicolas Picot in front of Ravenscroft, Ali Akabi and Henke Waldschmidt in 6th position. Then in 7th place, that looks to me like Masatora Wada, the Japanese driver. So he is still there in the top 10, looking very strong and very positive in this race. Green flags around the circuit as we are now up to racing speeds once again. Great stuff in the early part of this race then, as the drivers are already putting themselves under severe pressure to continue the bandwagon rolling from the start. And Ruben Moya holds the lead in front of his combatant. That is Sean Butcher, the Australian, as they come into the bottom end of the circuit. And it's still Nicolas Picot in front of Clayton Ravenscroft, with Henke Waldschmidt now giving massive pressure to Ali Akabi. As they come down, here comes Sean Butcher into the lead, and that's beautifully done. And 3rd position could go the way of Ravenscroft, although the door slammed shut by Nicolas Picot. Picot is not letting Ravenscroft come through there, and it still remains in 4th position. Really good battles, but Butcher is your new leader from Ruben Moya in 2nd. Then it is Picot, Ravenscroft, Akabi, Waldschmidt, and then Jordan Brown-Nutley has come through past Masatora Wada. Then it's Knutson, Curl, De Grand, Fires, Bayat, Martin, Hebet, Lintucanto, Guvarts, Petelé, Donic, and Villa Gomez. Lots of drivers trying to fight their way through. One of the drivers who lost ground in the first couple of laps was Louis Westover. Now finds himself down in 20th position in front of Roman Leroux, Mano Galofratone, Thana Pompong Satumno, and Stevan Planchamp. And that is the rest of the field. So that is the entirety of the drivers in that gaggle. But out in front, it is now Sean Butcher, the Australian, trying to get away from Ruben Moya. Can he make it 2 wins out of 3 starts? Sean Butcher, the Australian, having gone really well with 4 laps to go. Up the inside and round the outside comes Ravenscroft to try and move up into 3rd position. Now he's going to dive for the inside. The absolute Tigers move, but Waldschmidt's gone past both of them. So Waldschmidt into 3rd position, Ravenscroft into 4th place. A big lunge from Jordan Brown-Nutley as he gets up the inside of Ali Akabi and gets the move. Beautiful bit of racing there, as drivers are now just going gung-ho with 4 laps to go, knowing that they could steal some pretty valuable points from this race. So Sean Butcher and Ruben Moya still out in front. 3rd is now Henke Waldschmidt, having come up 2 places to 3rd. 4th is Ravenscroft. 5th is Jordan Brown-Nutley. 6th is Ali Akabi. They make their way through the S's once again. Much cleaner racing this time, I noticed. So that has obviously given the drivers food for thought. And they are battling brilliantly out there. Really exciting battles. But very disciplined, very dictatorial racing from the front for Sean Butcher as he heads the field. Ruben Moya trying to catch him with 3 to go. As in 3rd place is Waldschmidt. 4th is Ravenscroft. From Brown-Nutley, Akabi, Picot, Knutson, Danny Curl and Masatora Wada. Now Danny Curl's got Masatora Wada still breathing down his neck, while Curl is trying to find a way past Robin Knutson, the Swede. And he's not quite able to get there at the moment. He's got Nicolas Picot holding them up at the moment in that little traffic jam. So a bit of an issue there. Fastest in the first sector of anybody is Henke Waldschmidt. He's just done a 10.5 second sector time. So Waldschmidt is doing his best to close up on the 2 in front, dropping Clayton Goldsmith in 4th position just a little bit. Still a long way to go, and they all know it's going to be tough. But this is a great start to the weekend for Sean Butcher, having a great run. Ruben Moyer in 2nd, Waldschmidt 3rd from Ravenscroft, Brown Nutley and Ali Akabi. They come off the turn once again and back down to the main straight. They'll have just 2 laps to go this time. Here is your man in the lead, Sean Butcher, in front of Ruben Moyer. 3rd place, Waldschmidt. Then it's Ravenscroft, Brown Nutley and Akabi. 7th place is Pico. Danny Curl has come up into 8th position in front of Knutson. And then that looks like up into 10th position, we've got Sebastian Degrand making his move on the inside of Masatora Wada. And he has come through. So Masatora Wada down to 11th position. And that's a Fighting Tigers move further back from the 300 of Milan Petele. He's got the move there on the 264 to move up past Levi Lintucanto. Brilliant racing then in these last couple of laps of racing. Nicolas Pico, fastest of all in the first sector, trying to make up some time. Look at Sean Butcher. He is just dropping Ruben Moyer in 2nd place as we've got battles all the way down the order. But Ruben Moyer is being dropped into the clutches of Henke Waldschmidt. So Henke Waldschmidt trying to make his way through into 2nd place, and he might be a sitting target here, Ruben Moyer. Sean Butcher out in front. He's got a bit of space. It's about half a second, and Ruben Moyer defending big star from Henke Waldschmidt. Waldschmidt's going to try and get him on the undercut as they come off turn 1. He's got good pace, he's got good speed, good conviction, and he's on the brakes and he's through. Waldschmidt into P2 on the last lap here as Ruben Moyer tries once again. Waldschmidt covers the inside line to stop him coming through, and Waldschmidt's going to have to move across the cover, but Ruben Moyer's already there. Waldschmidt absolutely defends to the letter. Beautifully done. Ruben Moyer's going to want to try and get back into that 2nd position as soon as he possibly can. And Ruben Moyer is going to try. Waldschmidt is holding that inside line for all he's worth. Sean Butcher's going to win this at a canter. But 2nd place, Henke Waldschmidt is going to try and hang on here in front of Ruben Moyer, Clayton Ravenscroft, Jordan Brown Nutley and Ali Akabi, who are being caught by Nicolas Pico. But for Sean Butcher, this is going to be a dominant victory in the end. Having got himself into the lead, he has now driven away. Sean Butcher, the Australian, has done it again. And a brilliant victory for Sean Butcher. 2nd place is Waldschmidt from Moyer, Ravenscroft, Brown Nutley, and then it is Ali Akabi. Nicolas Pico, 7th place. Danny Curl in 8th from Robin Knutson and Sebastian Degrand from Milan Petele, Owen Byatt, Ben Fires, Masatora Wada, Levi Lintucanto, Martin Hebet, Jana Guvarts, Louis Westover, Roman Leroux and Kamil Donic with Manuel Golofratona, Stefan Planchamp, Thanapong Bangsitumnu and Rafael Villa-Gomez finishing off the field. But Sean Butcher is declared the winner. Brilliant performance and a great run. He's done himself very proud indeed there with some terrific race action. And Sean Butcher is your winner of that eventual qualifying heat AD. Glad we got to the end of it. Sean Butcher is your race winner from Henke Waldschmidt and Ruben Moyer. Clayton Ravenscroft in 4th from Jordan Brown Nutley. Ali Akabi, Nicolas Pico, Danny Curl, Robin Knutson and Sebastian Degrand in the top 10 from Milan Petele. And then, of course, we have in there as well Owen Byatt from Ben Fires, Masatora Wada, Levi Lintucanto, Martin Hebet, Jana Guvarts, Louis Westover, Roman Leroux, Kamil Donic, Manuel Golofratone, Stefan Planchamp, Thanapong Bangsitumnu and Rafael Villa-Gomez, with the retirements, no doubt at all, from Enzo Giroud and Henki Kalterin, both of whom we are told by the doctors are okay, which is really good news. A non-start in the end, or a non-finish at least, for Lena Bueller, and then a non-start from Kylian Belair, who has not started any of the races thus far this weekend. Well, we got to the end of it in the end, didn't we? The X30 Senior qualifying heat AD. The X30 Seniors will be back a little bit later on. But attention is now going to focus on the juniors once again, as they will come out onto the circuit for their 5th heat of the weekend.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve, you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna, you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality and Trade Price Cars.
So back into the action we go once again for the X30 Juniors, and it's an all-English front row. Actually, no, it's not. My apologies. It's an all-British front row if you discount the fact that Maximus Meyer is actually racing under a Spanish license these days. English-born driver racing and based out in Spain. And, of course, he is very much in the money at the moment because he's been absolutely on fire most of the weekend. Great to see Maximus Meyer picking up some very solid results from his his second weekend in the 2018 season. Let's not forget he was third in the X30 Mini Championship back in 2017 last year. He's also been third in the Spanish 11 in 2016. And obviously his mum Susanna has been glued to the screen all day waiting for her son to come out and put on a show. And oh boy, has he done so several times over the course of the weekend, including pole position yesterday in an amazing grid of competitors. And he's already picked up a win or two over the course of the day as well. One of them, a dominant victory by a good 3 seconds over the rest of the field. Won't be as easy to get that done again now because there's been a lot of waiting around, and obviously there's nerves, there's trepidation, and there's an awful lot of battles. And of course, the fact that he's going to be starting alongside the championship leader, Lewis Gilbert, the KR Sport driver from Dalry in Scotland, is going to be very, very hard for him to beat, and he knows that. Also on that second row of the grid, it's an all-British affair with Josh Ratican and Josh Rowledge doing a good job. The big story, though, from this class is the man starting on the third row of the grid, Marty Boyer, did not finish the previous race. Now that's a really important one for the championship because of course Lewis Gilbert came into this weekend as the championship leader, 4 points ahead of Marty Boyer. Now, not scoring a finish in that last race will obviously drop Marty Boyer further back through the field. It's going to make it harder for him to fight his way forward. So Marty Boyer now needs to be very strong and very solid and consistent and finish as high as he possibly can in his third and final heat. If he can get a victory, that will do a lot of good, basically in comparison to some of the damage that has already happened. He lines up alongside the Warsaw driver Oli Pilka from Poland in the Unique Racing team, and he's going to find it a real challenge from the outside line. But Marty Boyer is one of those drivers who's good at fighting back. He's obviously getting good bit of conversation from his mechanics. He started the day on the original Nassau, the original panel of the nose, and has now switched back over to the baguette configuration, which is basically with that massive groove up the inside, which you can fit your whole arm into that space, and that's where the air channels through. Now, Marty Boyer's obviously got a lot of work to do from that third row of the grid. His championship rival, 4 points ahead of him in the points, is 2 rows ahead of him on the same side. But the man who's in form at the moment is Max Meyer. So if he keeps up his form, he'll get big points from this weekend. But Lewis Gilbert just needs to stay solid and consistent in the top 3, with Marty Boyer playing catch-up. Outside the top 6, we've got Daniel Gregor and the Frenchman Enzo Juliet, who's hoping to recover after his incident earlier on with the Belgian driver Luca Leistra. Then we have Tom Leben and Delano van 't Hoff in the top 10, so they're going to be interesting ones to watch. Then we have Linus Janssen and Lois Delbar, the German and the Belgian, respectfully. Laurens de Querta and Erbelts Moore on the 7th row of the grid from Liam McNeely and Ronan Patrick Hackler, Aaron Reshepi and William Nicolo, and then at the back of the field should be the number 20 of Alicia Barrett. They've been told to clear the grid. The mechanics have cleared the grid, so obviously we're trying to work to a slightly different schedule. Away they go, and they are sent out pretty much straight away. Max Meyer, they need to get the kart started. Problems as well for Josh Ratican. Neither driver's got out of the pits yet, and they are starting first and third on the grid respectfully. But here is the grid as it stands. Max Meyer, then Lewis Gilbert, Josh Ratican, Josh Rowledge. I can tell you now that Josh Ratican has left the pits. Oli Pilka, Marty Boyer, Dan Gregor, Enzo Juliet, Tom Leben, Delano van 't Hoff, Linus Janssen, Lois Delbar, Laurens de Querta, Erbert Moore, Liam McNeely, Ronan Patrick Hackler, Aaron Reshepi, William Nicolo, and Alicia Barrett. Now, I'm just waiting to see if Max Meyer is going to leave the pits, because at the moment he is still there. So let's see if we can get the pit lane camera trained on it once again, because still there in the pits is the pole sitter, Maximus Meyer. Now, if they can get him out before the next formation lap, he can still be there and take his place back on the grid. Josh Ratican was a long time coming out of the pits as well, and he will have to form his way up at the front end of the grid once again in third position. But there's a real problem now because obviously Ratikin's got to fight his way through to the front. Max Meyer still hasn't come out of the pits. This is a big, big problem. Max Meyer is still stuck in the pits, waiting to come out. Now, this is an absolute disaster. If he can't get the car started, he is going to really struggle to make up the progress he's made. The mechanics are working on it. You can see Mario is down there waiting to signal him out, and Lewis Gilbert is forming up the grid. They are struggling to get the pole sitter, Max Meyer, started. Now, Max has got to keep calm in this situation. He has got to keep calm because there is a good chance that they'll get him out there in time for the race to start, especially if they get him out in the next 20 seconds or so, because they'll have to surely restart the race procedure. Now, if he can join up the rest of the field and get back into his position on the rolling start, that there is still a chance. But Max Meyer's opportunity to win this race is running out, and obviously it's causing absolute confusion and carnage for the rest of the field to form up, because no Max Meyer and no Josh Ratikin either at the front end of the field, because Ratikin looks like he's managed to catch up to the back end of the field. Well, this is going to be a really interesting challenge. Is that Ratikin having made his way through to the front? Yes, it is. So Ratikin is there in position, but he's got to ease up and basically keep himself alongside Josh Rowledge. But Max Meyer is sat in the pits. The pole sitter is going nowhere. This is a disaster. So Max Meyer, the field, look, you can see them in the background. They are coming through, and the race is going to start without him. This is an absolute disaster for Max Meyer. Now, if they can get him out, he might be able to join in at the back of the field, but it's too late to go from the win, and the race is on. Josh Ratikin, from last to first, effectively goes through the first corner, and there's a little bit of contact, a bit of jostling. Lois Del Bar went up in the air a couple of inches, and now he's okay. They fit their way through turn 2, but Max Meyer, heartbreak for the pole sitter, is still in the pits, not moving, and he is out of this race by the look of it. He's absolutely distraught. The race continues on without him. And it is Lewis Gilbert trying to fight his way back into the lead of the race with Josh Ratikin in first position. Ratikin, who represented Great Britain in the FIA Academy at Salbris 3 weeks ago, is now doing an absolutely cracking job trying to fight his way forward. There's Marty Boyer up into third position now. So Marty Boyer has got his way past Ollie Pilker at the start, and he is there in P3. Oh, it's so harsh watching the pit laners. Maxi Meyer walks away. Pole position was his. He did an absolutely amazing job, and now it's over. Here comes Lewis Gilbert to take the lead. Gilbert is through and takes the lead of the race from Josh Ratikin. Marty Boyer's right in there with him. Boyer going for second place. This is the Marty Boyer renaissance. Into second place he comes then. And now he's going to get the place lost straight away because Ratikin comes straight back through. Now Marty Boyer gets back on the inside. A brilliant squabble between these two as they switch positions almost as quickly as it takes me to say it. Terrific stuff, and they continue to battle away. But Lewis Gilbert is your race leader. Marty Boyer second. Josh Ratikin is third. Ollie Pilker is fourth place in front of Josh Rowledge. Then it is Enzo Juliet, Dilano Van Toff, Linus Janssen, and Daniel Gregor. Then it is Lois Del Bar, who had that little fisticuffs in the first couple of laps, first couple of corners, I should say. And then Laurens Lequerta, Liam McNeely, Tom Lebon, William Nicolou, and Aaron Reshepi. And that's Rowledge through on the inside of Ollie Pilker. So Rowledge has come through into fourth position. So it's Lewis Gilbert and Marty Boyer, first and second in the championship, first and second in the race, as they've got third place now, Josh Ratikin chasing them down. Ratikin could really do with a good bit of fortunes, and third position would be a great way to bring it back for the Coles Racing driver. Closing up on Marty Boyer again, that's Rowledge, and that is Dilano Van Toff, having made his way past Ollie Pilker and Enzo Juliet. So Dilano Van Toff has now moved up into fifth position. Good run from the Dutchman. Very top talent there, Dilano Van Toff. Every time you think you've seen the best of him, he delivers something pretty special. So Lewis Gilbert continues to lead the way here from Marty Boyer, Josh Ratikin and Josh Rowledge. Then it is Dilano Van Toff from Enzo Juliet and Ollie Pilker. Daniel Gregor is now battling away with Laurens Lequerta, Liam McNeely, Tom Levin. And is that Marty Boyer in front of Lewis Gilbert now? Yes, it is. So that is Marty Boyer in the lead of the race. Marty Boyer has taken the lead from Gilbert. Gilbert is going to come straight back at him. Marty Boyer's defending. Marty Boyer is defending with 5 laps to go. The Spaniard is absolutely determined. He's not going to lose this one. Ratikin's going to get up the inside of Lewis Gilbert. He's going to take second place. Gilbert is squeezed out there by Rowledge, drops to fourth position. So it's Marty Boyer from Ratikin, Rowledge, Gilbert, Juliet, Van Toff, Pilker. And then we've got the squabble behind them, led by Lawrence Lequerta with Liam McNeely, Tom Leben and Daniel Gregor in the mix. Then it's Nicolo, Delbar, Barrett, way up to 14th place. Good racing from her. Reshepi, Janssen, Moore, Hakela, and of course the retiree Max Meyer on the sidelines, cruelly robbed of a chance to win another race. So Marty Boyer is your race leader. Second place, Josh Rattigan. Third, Joshua Rowledge. As they continue to squabble for this position, they are going to really struggle to continue to gain this kind of battle. Kai Bacchini's watching at home. Good luck, Rowledge. And he is desperately trying to cheer on and root for his teammate in the British Championship Series paddock. He's watching with gusto and verve and vigour as Rowledge, they're in a second place now past Josh Radican. Great work from Rowledge. So Rowledge now in his second place. Onto the back of Marty Boyer he goes. Gilbert's going to get Enzo Juliet to accompany him to the battle for third position. We've got 4 laps to go. 4 done. Marty Boyer, the Spaniard, doing an absolutely cracking job in the early stages of the 2018 season. Valencia Winter Cup champion. And, of course, now battling for the Junior Championship as well. Lewis Gilbert, the championship leader, is in 4th position. But Marty Boyer has a retirement earlier on this weekend, so a victory is absolutely necessary and absolutely compulsory for Marty Boyer to do the best possible job he can do to exacerbate the damage from that retirement earlier on. So now Marty Boyer needs to win this one. Josh Rowledge in second place. Third is Josh Radican. Fourth is Lewis Gilbert. Fifth, Enzo Juliet. Delano Van Toff. And it looks like there's a move there from Tom Leben to try and go up the inside of Ollie Pilker. It didn't work. Now it's going to be Radican on the inside of Boyer because Rowledge is through to the lead. Rowledge has taken the lead. Radican second. Gilbert third. Juliet fourth. Boyer down to fifth. Amazing battle here. And so it continues with Josh Rowledge on the Strawberry Racing cart in the lead of the race here, with Josh Radican for Coles Racing there in second place, breathing down his neck, trying to make a way through. And that's a big, bold move from Juliet. Juliet again tries to come through. Gilbert is held up. Boyer comes through in a 4th position, and that's allowed Rowledge and Radican to get away. Enzo Juliet getting impatient, gets into 3rd position, but Marty Boyer, Lewis Gilbert and Delano Van Toff are now right on his tail, but that gives Josh Rowledge and Josh Radican some breathing space. So now it looks as though it's going to be those two to the flag as they come across the line this time. It's going to be 2 to go. And Josh Rowledge has got Josh Radican breathing down his neck. Marty Boyer moves across to cover Lewis Gilbert to stop him coming through in a P4. Enzo Juliet still going well there in 3rd position. Great battles continue. As again, Marty Boyer moves to cover his championship rival, Lewis Gilbert. He may not get the top 3, but if he can take points off his main rival, that's definitely going to help. And I mean qualifying heats points, of course. The championship points are not going to be awarded until tomorrow, but all the work he can do now is definitely going to help that become easier. A lap and a half to go, and Josh Rowledge is hanging on for what could be a major steal in the European Championships. A big win in the qualifying heats here at Mariembourg, but Josh Radican is right underneath him. This is not going to be easy, and he knows it. He's got to defend like crazy, or if Radican gets the move, he's going to need to find a way to get him back straight away and make the gap come to him. Here they come. Enzo Juliet's right in their wheel tracks as well in 3rd position. There's still Marty Boyer, Lewis Gilbert. Rowledge is protecting to cover the inside, moves back across to stop Radican coming through in the hope that Enzo Juliet is going to get the move on Radican. Radican's got the move on the inside line. Rowledge shuts the door. Juliet's on the inside to take second. Boyer and Gilbert through as well. And Rowledge has a little bit of a gap, but Juliet, Boyer and Gilbert are right in there. Radican down to 5th. Delano Van Toff is going to try and get the move done into 5th position. He can't get it. Rowledge has got 4 car lengths, and it looks like it might be enough. But he's going to have a big push from the 3 drivers behind. Enzo Juliet, Marty Boyer and Lewis Gilbert still pushing very hard. Radican down to 5th. Again, no luck. Delano Van Toff in 6th position. Into the final sector of the final lap. And it looks to me as though Josh Rowledge, with elbows poised and stern determination, is going to give him the victory he's been craving all season in the European Championships. Josh Rowledge gets the victory in superb style. Marty Boyer and Lewis Gilbert are the next across the line. I'm not sure what happened to Enzo Juliet, but Juliet is down and out of it by the look of it. He came across the line in 4th position, Enzo Juliet. So Boyer got through to 2nd, Gilbert got through to 3rd, Juliet 4th from Delano Van Toff and Josh Ratican. Then it is Tom Leben from Lawrence Lequerta, Daniel Gregor and Liam McNeely. Lois Delbard 11th. A brilliant fight back from Alicia Barrett to 12th position. Great job from her. Erbelt Moore, Linus Janssen, Ellen Reshepi, Ronan Patrick Hackler, William Nicolo, and Ollie Pilker tumbling all the way down to 18th, unfortunately. And a retirement, a cruel retirement for the pole sitter, Maximus Meyer. Didn't even get the chance to go racing. And it's a very sour end to what's already been a very impressive 24 hours for Maximus Meyer. He didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve the chance for taking a victory robbed before the race even got underway. No driver really deserves that. What a shame. But it's a victory. And a very deserved one for Josh Rowledge and the Strawberry Racing team. Marty Boyer second and Lewis Gilbert third. That really makes the Junior Championship battle very interesting indeed. Kai Bacchini is very happy with that one. Strawberry Gaming on YouTube says, fantastic race, Josh. And too right, it certainly was. What a great drive. Next up, more action from the X30 Juniors. And another chance for Rimo Kadabik to come back strong and fighting.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK. Brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Well, the very last of the Junior X30 qualifying heats of the day before we get into the nuts and bolts of tomorrow's racing. It is qualifying heat BD, and it's Rimo Kadapik and Luca Leistra who line up on the front row of the starting grid. Now, both of these guys need a bit of a exuberance because these guys have both been incredibly fast, and both of them had their weekend severely compromised in their first heats. Rimo Kadapik involved in an incident with Daniel Gregor in the first race when he's proved to be the fastest throughout practice on Thursday and Friday. It was completely not his fault, and Rimo Kadapik has had to fight his way back as a result of it, but now he's back in pole position once again. This is a genuine chance for the Estonian to go out and win a race with gusto and reignite his charge for the weekend, and he would absolutely deserve the chance to do that. Kadapik's been very strong all weekend and very, very impressive to watch. The 27 alongside him on the grid, the 127 I should say, Luca Leistra has been a favourite coming into this weekend based on his local knowledge and his outright speed. This is a great chance for him to come back after he was involved in an incident earlier in the meeting with Enzo Juliet, making a big lunge into turn 4 and ultimately bailing out halfway through an overtake, and that really compromised their race weekends as well. But there's a chance for Luca Leistra to come back. Noah Maton has been fast in the qualifying sessions and practice, but for whatever reason, something's always gone amiss in the races. But this is a good chance for Noah Maton to get his weekend back on track. Alongside him, Alex Lloyd, who's been fighting furiously in the Dan Holland Racing team, and they're on the second row of the grid. Another good chance for Alex Lloyd to be at the sharp end, and this could be a great steal of a victory if he gets it right. Zach Ripley of Great Britain and Jozef Spinkovic, the Pole, are on the third row of the grid together with Heatherlyn Nardini and Sam Balota on the fourth row. Josh McLean and Victor Pardo will round out the top 10. From the Flying Scotsman, Cian Shields, hoping to rebuild his weekend after being taken out in the previous race in a multi-cart pile-up. Alessandro Tedesca on the sixth row of the grid from Jason Young and Tom Uzan, Ken Oscar Algra, Eric Alanis Bosch, Zach Meekin and Alex Ivanov. That's the grid. There's a good 7 or 8 drivers in that field who I think could win the race outright here. Kadapik, Leistra, Alex Lloyd, potentially Noah Maton and Zach Ripley could as well. Josh McLean could fight his way forward. So could Cian Shields. Tom Uzan has been very fast over one lap, so if he gets himself further up, there's a good chance there. Jozef Spinkovic could be a surprise entry in that one. Helena Nardini needs a good bit of form, and this could be his chance to put the HTP kart team on top. So there's plenty of talent, plenty of opportunity, and some great drivers in the mix. So who is going to emerge from this final X30 Junior qualifying heat of the day and be at the top step of the podium going into tomorrow night? There is no podium trophies, of course. That only comes tomorrow, and this is the last of the Junior X30 heats before we get into the championship points business of tomorrow. as Mario is about to give them the signal all to head out onto the circuit, ready for the rolling lap. 2 rolling laps, of course, around the circuit they will go, and then we will go racing once again. Brilliant stuff. Good luck, Remo, says Mikael Mollinen, and he really could do with a great result, and he's got the ability to do it. We know how fast he is over 1 lap. He's been the fastest driver solidly all weekend in Junior X30, Remo Kadapik. Now he's got to go out there and put on a bit of a show. It's a bit of a traffic jam as they leave the pits, and a shout out to Alex Lloyd. Racing with man flu, says Becky Lloyd. Well, real racing drivers don't suffer with man flu. They just get on with it. Remo Kadapik and Luca Lystra on the front of the grid from Noah Maton and Alex Lloyd. Zach Ripley and Jurzik Spinkovic on the 3rd row with Helolin Nerodini and Sam Balota on the 4th. Josh McLean and Victor Pardo on the 5th row of the grid from Kian Shields and Alessandro Tedesca. Then Jason Young and Tom Uzan, Ken Oscar Algera and Eric Alanis Bosch, Zach Meekin and Alex Ivanov. 18 drivers. It's one of those situations again where we're wanting a golf score from the day's action. If you win the race, you get 0 points. You get 2 points for a second, 3 for a third, 4 for a fourth, 5 for a fifth, and so on. And whoever has the lowest score at the end of the qualifying heats will be the one who starts the pre-final from pole position. Only the first 28 karts in the mix are a guaranteed certain for the pre-final or final. Anybody 29th and downwards has to now fight in the repechage tomorrow morning for the right to go into the battle at the front. So it's going to be an absolutely terrific performance from them. David Jacobs watching at home, rooting for Noah Maton. Come on, Noah. From 3rd position on the grid, the 2nd row. This is going to be a really interesting battle if he can make it happen. So, after a bit of a slow start on the top end of the field, Remo Kadapik has got himself back to the front of the field, and he's going to leave as little time as possible to waste and sit around as possible. He's got himself to the front of the queue, and now he wants to dictate the pace, but he's controlling it from his own frame of mind. Really interesting battle this is going to be, because Remo Kadapik and Luca Lystra from the front of the field, they really need to rebuild their weekends from their point of view. They want to do a good job. They want to put on a bit of a show. And to be fair to them, they've got a really tough job to do it. Still very high temperatures here, considering it is now 5 to 7 p.m. local time here in Mariembourg in Belgium. It's still very hot. It's still very tense, and the drivers are still putting on a very good show for us here. A little bit delayed because of the incident in the Senior X30 race, but I can tell you, for those who were watching earlier, that both Enzo Giraud and Henki Kalteren have been declared by the doctors okay. That's fine, so they will be all right. X30 Junior underway. Kadapik, Lystra, Maton, Lloyd, Ripley, Spinkovic, Nuradini, Balota, McLean, Pardo. The engine revs rise, and that's going to be a clean start if ever I've seen one. Cracking start from Alex Lloyd. He's going to split them up the middle. Lystra then comes round the far side. Kadapik, they bang wheels. Lloyd has been left for dead a little bit there and squeezed out. It's a great start for Noah Maton. Maton in a 2nd place behind Remo Kadapik. So Noah Maton has put himself right into contention to win this race. Remo Kadapik is still there in the lead. Then it's Lystra in 3rd, just behind Noah Maton. Alex Lloyd is in 4th position, and it's a clean start everywhere else. No major shunts, no drama. So it's going to be an interesting battle, this one, from the front of the field with Remo Kadapik. About to lose 2nd is Maton. He goes down to 4th place. Lystra's through in a 2nd. Lloyd's through the 3rd. The 2 Down Holland Racing boys surely can work together now as they force their way forward. So Lystra and Lloyd having a really good battle there, now up to 2nd and 3rd positions. Maton is 4th. Ripley is 5th. From Spinkovic, Nuradini. And as they come through once again, Noah Maton looking very hungry to get on terms with the Dan Holland Racing carts in front of him once again as they battle down the main straight. Here comes Lystra, has a little bit of a look for Kadapik. That was a little bit too hungry. Lloyd is going to work with him to move closer. Noah Maton could strike. Lloyd's going for the place. Lloyd goes in a 2nd. Maton's going to try and use the gap to go with him. Lystra, absolutely not. Don't think so, mate. Into 3rd position he remains. And then the battle further back is a good one with Jurzik Spinkovic battling away for position. There's a few places lost there for Alessandro Tedesca as he gets hung out to dry and loses about 5 karts in the battle there. So it's Kadapik from Lloyd, Lystra, Maton, Spinkovic, Ripley, McLean, Pardo, Uzan, Balota, Nuradini, Shields, and I think Tedesca. So there's been a few positions made there by a few of the drivers in the mix there as Alessandro Tedesca got hung out to dry. A long way still to go. We're only on lap 2 of 8. As they come through at the end of the 2nd lap, Alex Lloyd is there in 2nd position, chasing after our race leader, Remo Kadapik, while Luca Lystra is trying to fend off from Noah Maton. Kadapik still your leader. Lloyd in second place. Maton is resolute, trying to come through in a third position. And there's a bit of a wheel rub between the two of them. Lystra absolutely convinced he's going to be in head front of Noah Maton by the flag. They rub wheels, and you can see how close it was because there was a puff of smoke as the two wheels rubbed together. Lystra absolutely determined. No, don't overtake me, Noah. Let's work together. Let's go after the leaders. Noah Maton, after that, is definitely not going to want to cooperate. Alex Lloyd right on the back of Rimo Kadapik as they come through. Jurzik Spinkovic in fifth. Then it's Ripley, McLean, Bardo, Uzan, Balota, Shields, Leung, Tudiska, Algra, Alanis Bosch, Ivanov, Mikin, and Nuradini has gone all the way down to the back, unfortunately. So the German has got to work his way further forward. Kadapik and Lloyd, race leaders as they come out of the end of lap 3. Back onto the main straight. 5 laps to go now. And Lloyd is going to make his move on the inside line. Oh, Kadapik moves to squeeze him. But Lloyd is through. Well done, Alex Lloyd. Goodness me. Rimo Kadapik intimidating him to the inside line there. Are you sure you're going to do this? Alex Lloyd says, yep, no problem, mate. And now Kadapik comes back through. Lloyd is going to try and get him on the undercut. But Lystra and Maton are still very close. So Kadapik and Lloyd swapping the lead as they come through that time by. Few good battles further back as well as everybody's still swobbling for position. The 5th place battle sees Spinkovic, Ripley, McLean and Tom Uzan having a good position battle. But Lystra and Maton are still sat there in 3rd and 4th watching the battle between Rimo Kadapik and Alex Lloyd as they run for 1st and 2nd. Alex Lloyd trying to have another go at the Estonian in the lead of the race. But a victory here would definitely give Alex Lloyd plenty to be confident about going into tomorrow. He was the only man to hold a candle to Marty Boyer at Valencia in the Winter Cup. Don't forget, here he comes again. And again, Kadapik's going to try and squeeze him. This time, Lloyd makes it very clear. I am coming through, mate. And there is a mechanical flag going out. Oh, I don't believe it. A mechanical flag going out. And it's for Zach Ripley. Zach Ripley, who was in 6th position. Something is not right with Ripley's card, evidently, and the 36 has been given the black and orange mechanical flag, the meatball flag as it's known, and that is a disaster for Zach Ripley. That is game over, in effect, at the half-distance point. Now, what has happened? Because I saw him go past. I didn't see anything untoward with the cart, obviously. I wonder if the chain guard has come off or something. But Zach Ripley has been given the meatball flag, a mechanical problem for Zach Ripley in which he has he's been ordered to come into the pits to fix it, which in this race effectively is game over. And that is a real shame. There is Zach Ripley. You just saw him going through in 7th position. He will get the meatball flag this time by. And it's devastation for Zach Ripley. I can't really see from this position what it is. I don't know what has caused the problem. Meanwhile, back at the front, Noah Maton goes for 3rd and gets it. Noah Maton through to 3rd. So Lloyd is your leader. Kadapik 2nd. Maton is now 3rd in front of Luka Lystra. Jurzik Spinkovic in front of Josh McLean. Josh McLean fighting his way through to P6 and doing a great job there for the Fusion Motorsport team. The second Brit in the top 6. But it's devastating to see that Zach Ripley is going to be out of this race with a mechanical problem. And he's now allowed 2 of the carts behind him to get through. That is Tom Uzan and Sam Balota. It's a bittersweet end to Zach Ripley's charge right there in the top 6. Another man who's got absolutely no luck at all. Alex Lloyd, Rimo Kadapik, Noah Maton. 3 drivers, 3 teams in the top 3 and having a great run of it. 4th position, that is Luka Lystra. Zach Ripley pulls off the course. His race is over. Devastating. Absolutely cruel. Jurzik Spinkovic and Josh McLean are now closing in on the top 4. We're not done yet. We've got 2 laps to go. And if these guys start fighting, there's a great chance for Spinkovic and McLean to move themselves further forward. 5th and 6th may not be the best they will hope for. They might be able to get in the top 4. Spinkovic and 5th place and 6th place McLean working hard to move further forward. Alex Lloyd still leads. Rimo Kadapik in 2nd place. Kadapik has a look, but there is no way through as far as Alex Lloyd is concerned. Noah Maton now starting to step up the game plan to come after Rimo Kadapik. 4th place, Luka Lystra right in the mix as well as they come into the left-hander. Hug the curb on the apex, spits you out to the right-hander. Lloyd very aggressive on the throttle on the way through. And we got a spin. We've got an off there. They've just gone past somebody who's gone off the road. That is Zach Meakin. That is Zach Meakin who's off the road. That is a disaster. Well, it looks to me as though Zach Ripley has come back out onto the circuit and continued on. But Zach Meakin is going to rejoin the circuit down in 17th place as we go into the last lap. Noah Maton through into 2nd place past Rimo Kadapik. And now they are jostling away for position. Alex Lloyd has a little bit of breathing space to cope with it. But Noah Maton into second place past Remo Kadapik. Kadapik's trying to get him back to get at least into second position. Fourth place, Luca Lystra. Then Spinkovic and McLean. These five are going to battle away for second place. Alex Lloyd's got a country mile in this close battle of a race between himself and second position. He's not going to lose that much time to them behind. So surely Alex Lloyd has got the win on the plate now. But is this going to be enough for second place for Noah Maton? Or is there going to be a charge from Remo Kadapik going into the final couple of corners? It's good for Alex Lloyd, though. He's going to take the flag. The Dan Holland Racing driver doing it in style. Alex Lloyd gets the victory here in Mariembourg. Second place for Noah Maton. Third for Remo Kadapik. Fourth position for Luca Lystra from Jerzy Spinkovic and Josh McLean. And what a battle. What a race. But what a absolutely dictatorial drive by Alex Lloyd. I am winning this race. Enough said. Brilliantly done. Absolutely authoritarian from Alex Lloyd. Just when he gets into his stride, he is unbeatable. And that was absolutely fantastic from Alex Lloyd. Noah Maton in second place. Remo Kadapik in third. Good comeback drives from them. Luca Lystra in fourth place as well. That will give them some good points heading into tomorrow. Jerzy Spinkovic, Josh McLean in the top six. From Sam Balota, Tom Uzan, a fighting drive from Kian Shields puts him in the top 10, along with Jason Young as well. Good places made up from him. Victor Pardo in 11th from Alessandro Tedesca, Ken Oscar Algra and Helen Narodini disappointing. Alex Ivanov, Eric Alanis Bosch. And then right at the back, but finishing, most importantly, Zach Ripley and Zach Meakin. It proves that today you've got absolutely no luck at all if your name is Zach. What a shame. But that's the X30 Juniors done for the day. We will continue on with our programme as we move on to the X30 Minis up next.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Four minutes past 7 local time here in Belgium, and we have just 4 races remaining on the programme. The first of those being the X30 Mini Heat, the third of those today. It's been a good battle from the X30 Minis so far today, and we've seen some pretty impressive racing from the 2 races we saw earlier on from the X30 Minis. Let's give you a bit of a reminder as to how things have played out. In the first heat of the day, it was Kimi Abraham who got the victory for the Demo Kart team, the Belgian local from Ruben Volt and Miguel Perro-Lozaraga, with Nathan Ottink in front of William Go, Lucas Fluscher-Cross, Alejandro Melendez, Amaury Mertens, Bogdan Ionut-Bria, Sergio Ruiz, Gabriel Bektas, and then Angelo Melli and Patrice Kovalevsky. That was the order in the first race. In the second race of the day, we had Miguel Perro-Lozaraga charge his way through to the victory in front of Kimi Abraham, just 1/10 of a second in front, with Nathan Ottink in third place. Patrice Kovalevsky coming home in fourth, ahead of Ruben Volt. Sergio Ruiz in the top 6 as well, from Alejandro Melendez, Angelo Melli, Gabriel Bektas, Bogdan Ionut-Bria, Amaury Mertens and Lucas Fluscher-Cross, with only one retirement from the race. Well, actually, no, not a retirement, a disqualification, sadly, for a technical infringement, and that is William Go, the Pierce Sexton Racing driver, who had fought his way right the way up into the top 5 at one stage. Hopefully he'll be able to get there again, because we have the third and final qualifying heat for the X30 Minis, and they will once again start in the same qualifying order as we saw them earlier on. So the qualifying set yesterday, of course, Kimi Abraham on pole position from Sergio Ruiz in second position, Nathan Ottink in third position from Miguel Perro-Lozaraga, Ruben Volt and Lucas Fluscher-Cross on the third row of the grid from Patrice Kovalevsky and Gabriel Bektas on the fourth row, the all-Belgian contingent, William Go and Amaury Mertens on the fifth row from Alejandro Melendez, Bogdan Ionut-Bria and Angelo Melli. Now, it's going to be an interesting one because Kimi Abraham has had a win and a second position so far this weekend. Clearly, he is the favourite going into this one because he seems to have great confidence on this circuit. He knows it very well. He's got some great ability when it comes to kart control and racecraft here. He seems to know parts of the circuit are good for overtaking and manoeuvres that others don't, and he's really been using that and utilising it to his playing to his strengths. So Kimi Abraham is definitely the one to watch for me this weekend. I have a feeling that he's going to be very hard to beat when it gets into tomorrow. But there's going to be several drivers who will try and take it from him. Obviously, Sergio Ruiz, who's always very quick on one lap. That's why he's there on the front row of the grid. Nathan Ottink in third position on that second row of the grid. He's been ultra fast all the way through the weekend. The fastest over one lap for the majority of the weekend as well, the PDB Racing driver. So we'll see if he has what it takes to get onto the top step of the podium. Alongside him is the man who's already taken a win this weekend, Miguel Pero Rosalaga, who won the previous heat. Third row of the grid, Ruben Volt, the Estonian, is in there along with Lucas Fluschercross, who's always very steely nerved and very tigerish when it comes to overtaking moves. The Belgians have started very well from that fourth row of the grid. The likes of Patrice Kovalevski and Gabriel Bektas, both of them have been as high as the top 5 over the course of racing so far this weekend. William Goh got himself up into the top 6 earlier before his disqualification, unfortunately, not due to his own driving as far as I know, but obviously a technical infringement keeping him away from the battle there. But in the top 10 for this third and final race of the day, of course. Amaury Mertens is in there as well. Amaury Mertens, the Belgian, wanting to move his way forward in the MGR racing kart, and hopefully we'll see some more good stuff from him. And then there's the man who's continuously fighting back after a disappointing qualifying session, Alejandro Melendez, who did a fantastic job in both of his previous heats. Having started in 11th, he fought it back to 7th place on both occasions. So Melendez is working his way forward, and this is kind of what he did in Salbris. He was always a threat, but he made a good use of the points he was scoring. Now, Melendez has this bit of a difficulty this weekend in that when the race finishes, his kart breaks down. Now, as long as he can get himself fighting forward before that happens, there's no reason why it can end up causing a problem. But 3 times in a row to have a breakdown after the finish really would be a bit of a problem for Alejandro Melendez. But he is there in 11th on the grid, and we're focusing on Alejandro a little bit because, of course, he won at Salbris last time out. And the difference from there to here has been rather staggering because Alejandro Melendez has not been able to show his pace in the top 5 the same way he was 8 weeks ago when we were in France and when he was the best thing in X30 Mini since sliced bread. Well, actually, the best thing in X30 Minis since Max Meyer, of course, who's now moved on to move up to juniors and be a pole position sitter, although cruelly taken away from him after the mechanical problems where he was stuck in the holding area. So hopefully he will bounce back tomorrow. The X30 Minis are going to give us one more playtime out there on the circuit, round for their second formation lap. And the drivers here at Mariembourg wanting to put on a bit of a show. They've already given us 2 exciting races. Can Kimi Abraham get a second win, or is it going to go to Miguel Pero Luzaraga? We will find out. It could even go to one of the other drivers who has yet to win so far. Nathan Ottink has come very close indeed to getting that victory. He's certainly been the fastest over one lap consistently through the course of the weekend, and that's going to put him in very good stead indeed. Now, Sergio Ruiz needs to put himself back onto the front row of the starting grid, and once he's done that, we are ultimately ready to get going once again. But the karts are now lining up in position around the circuit as they will form themselves up in formation. Really exciting battles from the drivers as they continue around on this formation lap. And obviously at the lights out, they will go racing for 6 laps of the circuit. It's a big one for these particular competitors. It's a long circuit. 63 seconds for the lap is about the average for the drivers in this particular class. So they've got to work very hard indeed to make sure they keep that kind of speed up the whole way. It's a very tricky and technical circuit for the X30 Minis, and they're handling it very well, it has to be said. Kimi Abraham and Sergio Ruiz, Ottink and Pero Rosaraga, Volt and Fluschercross, Kovalevski and Bektas, Go and Mertens, Melendez and Brea, and Angelo Melli. So let's see how the drivers get underway for this one. It's going to be a really interesting start to proceedings. As we go racing this time, the revs will rise. They come across the line. It's time to go racing, and it's a good start from Sergio Ruiz, assisted by Miguel Pero Luzaraga. Kimi Abraham is not going to yield, though. He gets back onto the inside line and takes the place. That's kicked Ruiz down the order, down to about 6th or 7th place. So a real problem for Sergio Ruiz. He gets hung out to dry at the start. He's down into 7th position. And a few drivers now trying to make their way through as they cut through. But a good start from Kimi Abraham. He leads the way comfortably here in the first part of proceedings. So a very good start from his point of view. So Kimi Abraham, the Belgian, out in front at the moment. Second position, a really good battle in the mix there is Miguel Pedro de Zaraga in second position. Third place, Nathan Otting. Fourth is Ruben Volt. And here comes Pedro de Zaraga up the inside. He's going to take the place. Abraham's going to drop that back to position. Otting and Pedro de Zaraga bang wheels. Ruben Volt comes through in the third position. Oh my goodness, they're wrestling out there. Never mind racing. Goodness me. Through into the lead then. Comes Miguel Pedro de Zaraga. Kimi Abraham's back in a second position by the look of it. Oh no, that's Kimi Abraham in third place now. So Miguel Pedro de Zaraga has got in behind Nathan Otting. Otting is your leader. Pedro de Zaraga in second. Then it's Abraham, Volt. And in fifth position, that looks like the 931 of Kovalevsky. So again, Kovalevsky's moving forward. He's up in a fourth place now, having got past Ruben Volt. Volt gets him straight back again. And now here comes Sergio Ruiz. Shut the door, Patrice. He's there. He's done it. And it looks like he's going to be joined in the mix there by Lucas Fluschercross. So Fluschercross comes through into the position, and that's put him up into the place. So Sergio Ruiz is in the mix there as well. What a very ferocious first lap that was, with drivers banging wheels and opening and shutting doors like it was a pantomime farce. Absolutely amazing. Nathan Otting in front of Miguel Pedro de Zaraga. Volt goes for third and gets the place. No problem at all there. Now, Kimi Abraham has dropped them, so it's actually for fourth position, not for third. My apologies. Kimi Abraham's pulling away from the cars behind and is dropping them. Nathan Otting leads the way. Miguel Pedro de Zaraga second, Abraham third, and then the rest of the field in a massive gaggle of karts as they come through for fourth position. Otting down the middle of the circuit, not going to allow Miguel Pedro de Zaraga to go through. They're going to run together. They bang wheels, and they're still side by side. Miguel Pedro de Zaraga absolutely determined to take the lead as they come through. Otting is still there to the far side, not letting him get the lead. Kimi Abraham trying to squeeze past both of them, and he's done it. Abraham through. Now Miguel Pedro de Zaraga comes through. Otting is trying to come back through on the inside. How many times did that position change in 5 corners? Absolutely amazing. Pedro de Zaraga is out in front now. Otting in second and Abraham third. Now Otting comes back on the inside, takes the place back. Abraham's trying to get back on the inside of Pedro de Zaraga. And there is no room for manoeuvre, no room for negotiation, because Nathan Otting has got into the lead again. Oh my word. This is one heck of a race now. Absolutely terrific battling between these guys. And Miguel Pedro de Zaraga now goes for the move of the final turn. Nathan Otting goes through. They both drift out wide. Abraham's to the right side. Watch it, guys. He's going to catch you all. This is an amazing squabble. We hit the half distance mark. 3 laps down, 3 to go. Abraham's going to get them both in a turn 1. Miguel Pedro de Zaraga now cuts back, gets Otting, gets Abraham. Terrific racing. They are absolutely on it. Abraham shuts the door, not going to come through. Otting round the far side, and here comes Patrice Kovalevsky. Volt's now going to dive down the inside. Contact with Pedro de Zaraga. That holds them both up. And here comes Fluschercross. Fluschercross up into 4th position, squeezes Kovalevsky. So Pedro de Zaraga survives in 3rd position. Alejandro Melendez has come up in his 7th position. This is one of the best races I've seen from X30 Minis in the entire world. Fantastic. Otting now has Kimi Abraham to deal with. Abraham's going to come up the inside, bails out at the last minute. Pedro de Zaraga in 3rd position. What a sensational scrap in X30 Minis. I've never seen anything like it. What a sensational scrap for position. And still it goes on. Miguel Pedro de Zaraga now hanging on in front of the 924 of Lucas Fluschercross. In there as well is his teammate Sergio Ruiz. As they come over the line once again, it's Otting from Abraham. 3rd position, Miguel Pedro de Zaraga from Fluschercross. Ruiz, Alejandro Melendez, Ruben Volt. All of the top line stars that were at the front have now fallen away down to the back. Nathan Otting and Kimi Abraham still battling away, still jostling for this victory. Pedro de Zaraga in 3rd position. 4th place is Fluschercross, but up the inside comes Abraham. Otting is not going to lose this lead if he can help it. Watch out for Pedro de Zaraga coming through on the inside. He's going to get one, just the one of them. So he's into 2nd place, tucked in there behind Abraham. Absolutely majestic racing for the Mini X30s. Every time you think it's done, it just gets better. Pedro de Zaraga now back on the inside. They bang wheels. Abraham holds it to the inside. Otting's going to get them both. He switches past and gets through on both of them. Pedro de Zaraga now through in a 2nd place. Abraham in 3rd. Now Pedro de Zaraga dives again for the victory on the inside with 2 to go. Absolutely superb driving from them all in the top 6. And there's still plenty to go in this race. Miguel Pedro de Zaraga squeezes Otting, trying to hold him off. Oh, this is amazing. How are they going to keep this going for another lap? Surely something's going to happen. Surely something's going to make them spit out to the side. But Miguel Zaraga hanging on in front of Otting and Abraham. And here comes Flushercross round the far side. Melendez is squeezed out and vaults now to his right side. Here comes Abraham up the inside of Otting to try and move into second position. This is amazing stuff as they continue to battle away. Miguel Zaraga in front of Otting. And then we have Kimi Abraham. 924 Lucas Flushercross. Here they come again as they battle in position up to the far side. They're going to go three wide into the left-hander, into right-hander, sorry. And this is going to be Otting hanging on in front. Abraham's going to split them up the middle. Otting goes wide. Miguel Zaraga puts Abraham on the grass. Folt is now through into fourth position. Flushercross through the third. Miguel Zaraga goes across the grass. Otting takes the lead, and here comes Flushercross trying to get into second position. They've all been rally crossing in this one, but it's Nathan Otting who's got the space. Nathan Otting is going to get it and make it three different winners. Abraham's won a race. Miguel Zaraga's won a race. Now it's going to be Nathan Otting as they come out of the final turn. Nathan Otting has got it. Look at the squabble behind them. But Otting is the winner. Zaraga second. And Melendez is through in third. How did he do that? Oh my word. That is the best X30 mini race I have ever seen. Absolutely stupendous. Every single one of them had a chance to win that. Every single one of them gave their best. That was A-grade racing. Remember where you were at Mariembourg, the second round of the IAME X30 Euro Series. Because if you could put on a better X30 mini race than that, I'll eat my hat, gloves, scarf, and shoes. Absolutely amazing. That is one of the greatest races I have seen in a long, long time. Otting wins it from Miguel Zaraga. Alejandro Melendez fights the third from Ruben Volt, Sergio Ruiz, Kimi Abraham, Lucas Flushercross, Amore Mertens, Gabriel Bergtas, Patrice Kovalevsky, William Go, Angelo Melli, and Bria Bogdanianut. And I tell you what, every single one of them could have won that race. Every single one of them. You wait decades for a race like that. That was absolutely amazing. I'm going to be replaying that one over and over and over again in my mind. Absolutely terrific. Just about the best darn X30 mini race you ever could have asked for. And now I genuinely have no idea who's going to win the final tomorrow because I genuinely can't pick one of them who is better than the others. That was incredible. And after all of that battle, Bod Cole makes a very good point on YouTube. Amazing mini X30s, clean as a whistle as well. That was astonishing. Absolutely astonishing. If I live to be 100, I doubt I'm ever going to see an X30 mini race on the European scene as good as that. And now that I've said it, you know what's going to happen, don't you? Tomorrow's pre-final is going to be better, and then the final is going to be even better than that. I genuinely don't know how it's going to manage it, though. Oh, my word. It's just an incredible race. When you wait ages for a race like that. Even these guys down in the holding area, the super shifters, were out of their carts. They ran to the side. They wanted to see what was going on. Oh, I'm sorry, super shifters. You're going to have to work hard to get to be better than that race. That was sensational. Well, I suppose we'd better give you a chance to try, because it really is going to be a great start at least. And as long as there's going to be a good bit of battling to that first couple of corners, we're in for a bit of a show. But the X30 Minis, that's the hottest ticket in town right now.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Right, just a gentle request. If anybody has any oxygen, could you send it up to the commentary box, please? I can't believe I've actually got nothing else to go with. Absolutely incredible Mini X30 race. One of the best races I've seen in a long, long, long time. Absolutely stunning. Right, okay, back to reality. And we've got the X30 Super Shifters, Stendorian Pirimaki and Kevin Luddy. this is going to be an interesting fight between these two because they now have a win apiece. Kevin Ludi took the first race. Stentorian Pitamagi took the second. In qualifying, they were matched to the thousandth of a second. They both set a lap time of 53.787. That's absolutely to the thousandth of a second. That's how close it is between these two. They both have a win, and they both have that same time from qualifying. So how do you separate them? Well, it's easy. You put them on the same bit of racetrack for the third time of asking, and you hope that they're going to keep it nice and clean, which they always do, to be fair, in Super Shifters. It is a fast sport, the gearbox karting scene in the X30 Super Shifters, but it is a very clean one, and you get to see some absolutely terrific racing from these guys. These aren't the only ones that can win races, of course. On that second row of the grid, you've got Kasper Korjus, the Estonian, and the British driver Barry Pullinger for the Dan Holland Racing Team. So they're going to be really strong from that second row of the grid. You're also going to see the likes of Nico Rohrwasser and Carlos Leon. Carlos got a brilliant start the last time. I think, however, that was a jump start. So I have a feeling that he will have been penalised for it. Thierry Del Rey, Philippe Siever, Michel Biviga, Doriano Marchucci, Leonor Chalet and Joao Diaz round out the grid. And we're going to go racing yet again. Absolutely fantastic stuff. So here is the grid for this third and final race of the day for the Super Shifters. Stentorian Pitamagi and Kevin Ludi on the front row of the grid from Kasper Korjus, I should say, sorry, and Barry Pullinger. I'm mixing up my Korjuses. Rohrwasser and Leon on the third row of the grid from Del Rey and Siever, Biviga and Marchucci, and then Chalet and Diaz. So a good contention of drivers then from each of the different categories. They've worked very hard to get up to this point, but now it's a real race of attrition. Stentorian Pitamagi versus Kevin Ludi, a win apiece. Whoever wins against the other in this race will effectively start the pre-final from pole position. And we've got somebody off on the way to the second corner. Somebody who's either had a spin or... It's Barry Pullinger! It's Pullinger! Now, that is a big one. That's from the second row of the grid. Barry Pullinger has come off at the exit of turn one. Now, if he can get the kart started again, he may well be able to join up at the back of the queue anyway and just get the race restarted. But this is a very dramatic start to Barry Pullinger's race. I thought we were all done with the drama today. Clearly not. Because Barry Pullinger now has a mechanical problem of some kind that is keeping him from his second row of the grid. While Barry Pullinger and Max Meyer are going to know exactly what it feels like to have a great chance of a victory taken away from them before the race has even begun. Now, the field is being very courteous. They always are in the Super Shifters. They're all great friends with one another, and they're waiting for a chance. No, Barry Pullinger's out of the kart. Devastating. Barry Pullinger walking away from his machine up at turn one. Well, Barry Pullinger... Game over, and it hasn't even started. That is so devastating. So yet again, a British charge up at the front end. Mechanical problems stopping him from racing before the race has even begun. Well, that's one down and 11 to go, and hopefully we won't lose any more. But Stentorian Pitamagi and Kevin Ludi will now run on the front of the grid. There will be just one kart alone on the second row of the starting grid, and that is going to be Kasper Korjus. Nico Rohrwasser and Carlos Leon. The best person with an opportunistic start of a chance here is now Carlos Leon because he's got no kart in front of him. And then we have Del Rey, Siever, Biviga, Marchucci, Chalet and Diaz. Here's the start. We'll wait for the lights to go out. Don't jump the start, anybody. Oh, it looks as though we have had a jump start, and it's the 6:12 of Philippe Siever again. Philippe Siever has jumped the start yet again. So he has not lost the lead straight away. Stentorian Pitamagi's through, and that's impeded his teammate Kevin Ludi. Now, this is critical. Philippe Siever jumps the start, gets out in front of Stentorian Pitamagi. Stentorian Pitamagi's got through. Now, if Ludi takes a long time to pass Pitamagi, then that is going to give Pitamagi the victory. So Ludi needs to get past Philippe Siever pretty darn sharpish. Otherwise, the Estonian out in front, Stentorian Pitamagi, is going to disappear into the distance with his kind of rhythm. Fourth place is Thierry Del Rey. A spectacular start for the hometown hero. So Thierry Del Rey, the Mach 1 driver from Heers in Belgium, is now up into fourth position. And as they come through this time by, surely Philippe Siever needs to get out of the way and let Kevin Ludi through. He knows he's jumped the start. He must know he's jumped the start, but he's just got to carry on with it. But now Kevin Ludi's got to go through. And the Spirit Racing driver is trying to move his way forward up into second position. But Thierry Del Rey has gone with. Then it's Casper Corjus. Then it looks to me like Carlos Leon and Nico Rohrwasser. Then it is Michel Biviga. The 623 of Lionel Chalet. That is the 623 of Doriano Marchucci. Then it is Lionel Chalet and Joao Diaz with, unfortunately, Barry Pullinger out of the race before it even started. Devastating for the youngster. And the Brit was really never given a chance to race at all. So, Stendorian Pilimagi leads the race. Fastest in the first sector, fastest in the second sector. This is what we were saying. Philippe Siva is holding up his teammate Kevin Luddy here. And no matter how long it takes Kevin Luddy to overtake Siva, with Stendorian Pilimagi in this kind of pace, he's just going to dominate. And up the inside of Kevin Luddy goes Thierry Del Rey, and he loses places to Corjus and to Leon. So Del Rey trying to go for Luddy, and Siva given a clean bill of health out in front. So it looks good for Stendorian Pilimagi. It's frustrating for Kevin Luddy as his teammate, who got a jump start and leapt into the lead, Stendorian Pilimagi taking the place back at turn 2, and now Kevin Luddy can't even stay with his teammate. So this is going to set Stendorian Pilimagi up for a pole position start tomorrow in the pre-final. Now, obviously, championship points are not scored today. They are scored tomorrow. But Stendorian Pilimagi leads the championship after the first round of the championship at Salbris. He wants to continue to pull away in the championship battle. Kevin Luddy does not want that to happen. So he wants to try and get closer to him. But at the moment, it's looking good for Stendorian Pilimagi, who was first in race 1. Oh, I'm told he was first in race 1 and race 2, because it looks to me as though Kevin Luddy was given a penalty in that first race. So actually, Stendorian Pilimagi is looking for a clean sweep. And he has set the fastest lap on a 54.802. Come on, Lionel, says the YouTube stream. Anthoab is watching on with gusto. And there's some good battles in this Super Shifter field. But look at Stendorian Pilimagi. You can't if you're watching the stream. He's already too far ahead to be in the same shot. There he is. And now we've got the two Spirit Racing carts in second and third position. Kevin Luddy trying to get on terms with his teammate Philippe Siva and watching his chances of pole position, which were already very tough, fairly dissipating away now. Stendorian Pilimagi has extended the gap from a second to 1.6 as Kevin Luddy now makes the move into second place. So Luddy is through on his teammate Philippe Siva. Up into second place goes Luddy, but now Siva's got to try and defend from the Estonian Casper Corjus, who is going very well indeed now. So can Casper Corjus get through? He needs to get on with it because he's got the Spanish talent Carlos Leon closing up, and Thierry Del Rey has just set the new fastest lap of the race in his bid to move further forward. And for the record, his lap is a 54.601, fastest of all in the first and third sectors. So Pilimagi, Luddy, Siva, Corjus, Leon, Del Rey, Rohrwasser, Bifiger, Marchucci, Chalet and Diaz is the order at the moment. We're on lap 5 of 11. Next lap will be the halfway lap. But this is a very tough test of the powers of Kevin Luddy. Look at how far Stendorian Pilimagi is ahead. You just saw him leave the shot as Kevin Luddy is now 1.6 seconds back. Stendorian Pilimagi sets a new fastest lap of the race as Corjus has a bit of a look there on Philippe Siva and thinks better of it. That's brought Carlos Leon and Thierry Del Rey back into the fight. So Leon and Del Rey are going to look for their opportune moments to come through. This is an awkward situation for the drivers because, of course, by now they would be finished with Super Shifters. So it's a lot darker than it was and the sun is lower. So it's causing a bit of a difficulty at certain parts of the circuit as the drivers are obviously getting blinded around certain parts of the circuit where they wouldn't have been if we'd run to time. So the drivers are having to cope with that on top of everything else as well. But Stendorian Pilimagi has got this very much sewn up already if he just keeps it together. He had difficulties in Valencia, but since he's come into the European Championship this year, Stendorian Pilimagi is the man in form, and Corjus makes the move on Siva, and it's also a move from Del Rey on Carlos Leon. Carlos Leon trying to stop it happening, but Del Rey is through, so Del Rey comes up into 5th position. So Casper Corjus is now into 3rd, Siva 4th, Del Rey is in 5th position, Carlos Leon is 6th, Nico Rohrwasser is in 7th place. Then it is Bifiger in front of Marchucci, Lionel Chalet and Joao Diaz. Stendorian Pidemargi still pushing hard. Fastest in the first sector of the entire race. Kevin Luddy is charging after him, trying desperately to keep up. But Pidemargi versus Luddy, this is going to be the battle for the 2018 championship. I can feel it in my bones. Pidemargi versus Luddy. It's going to be a big battle all season long, but it's all going to be about whether Pidemargi can get away from Luddy or whether Luddy can try and chip away at the advantage. So Luddy beat him on the road, but a technical infringement stopped him from taking the victory in the first race. And either way, that's still going to be a problem for Kevin Luddy. So, with the track still cooling down a little bit, we might see some really fast lap times towards the end of the race here. 4 to go. And Stendorian has set another fastest lap of 54.180 just to prove the point. Fastest again of the entire race in the first sector. So Stendorian Pidemargi, rather than slowing down and cruising, is just dominating. He's trying to rewrite the record books here for the X30 Super Shifters at Mariembourg. And he's doing a fantastic job, still just pushing away as much as he possibly can. But this is turning into an absolute rout for the Estonian. Kevin Luddy in second, under some pressure now from Kasper Korjus, who is starting to get away from Philip Siever and Thierry Del Rey. In fact, Del Rey has moved up into fourth position on that lap. So Thierry Del Rey still working hard. But Philip Siever has dropped down to fifth position and is trying to hold on in front of the Spaniard, Carlos Leon, who I'm fairly sure is the youngest man in the field. Carlos Leon still pushing hard. Behind him, Nico Rohrwasser is actually dropping back off the pace a little bit. We've got 3 laps to go, and the man who looks like he's going to be doing most of the overtaking in those last 3 laps is going to be Carlos Leon. Wait for it. There he is, right on the back now of Philip Siever, trying to come through into fifth position. Thierry Del Rey is a couple of kart lengths further up, but the man from Hyères, not far away in Belgium, is obviously doing a fantastic job there, having moved up to fourth position. But this man, Stendorian Pidemargi, is just ruthless and efficient with an amazing battle on his hands. 2 laps to go in the Super Shifters, and Stendorian Pidemargi is set to make it a hat-trick. That is absolutely sensational from Stendorian Pidemargi to have done what he has done in such crushing displays of dominance. Has been absolutely incredible. We thought it was impressive at Salbris. Here at the second round of the championship at Mariembourg, it has been just as impressive, but nonetheless unbelievable. So they continue to battle away. Still more great battles in the last couple of laps, I fear, from the fifth place battle. See, Del Rey is leaving these 2 behind, but Carlos Leon is trying to make his move on Philip Siever in the final lap and a half. But I'm not sure he's going to find a way through. Philip Siever hanging on to it. He may not have to, of course, because if Siever is judged to have jumped the start again, which I'm assuming he has done, then he will be penalised for that. And obviously, Philip Siever will be beaten by Carlos Leon, whatever. There is Kevin Luddy on the last lap, trying his best to get down some of this gap to Stendorian Pidemargi. The gap is 2.1 seconds. There is Stendorian Pidemargi. Just dominant. Absolutely dominant. 54.053, the new fastest lap of the race by Stendorian Pidemargi. Interestingly, the fastest first and second sectors of the race have come from Kevin Luddy, but Stendorian Pidemargi has the fastest lap of the race, a 54.053. The theoretical best is a 53.9, but Stendorian Pidemargi is being pushed right to the death here by Kevin Luddy. Not that he needs to, but the Estonian does things his way, and with total and utter style. Stendorian Pidemargi is going to come through for the victory once again here in Mariembourg. It's 3 out of 3 for Stendorian Pidemargi. Second place for Kevin Luddy. Third for Kasper Korjus. 3 different teams in the top 3 places. That at least keeps it open and fair. And Thierry Del Rey comes home in 4th position. Philip Siever is 5th place. Carlos Leon in 6th position from Nico Rohrwasser, Michel Bifiga, Doriano Marchucci, Lionel Chalet, Joao Diaz, and unfortunately the retirement from Barry Pullinger. A real shame, actually, because Barry Pullinger could have been involved in that battle. But Stendorian Pidemargi makes it 3 out of 3. Absolutely terrific performance from him today, and that will put him on pole position for the pre-final tomorrow. So the next time you see them racing, they'll be racing for championship points, and that will be tomorrow morning. Barry Pullinger, still with helmet on, walks back to his kart, absolutely sick to his stomach. Pidemargi, Luddy, Korjus, Del Rey, Siever, Leon, Rohrwasser, Bifiga, Marchucci, Chalet and Diaz. and that is the order they finish in. So that is the last of our 3 races from the X30 Super Shifter class. Just 2 races left to run here tonight, and that is going to be the Senior X30 Heats 9 and 10. Great racing on the way.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
I now have 2 races left to talk about in front of me, and they are the X30 Senior qualifying heats. C and E, the groups that come out on this one: Joe Turney and William Godefroid from the front of the grid, from Vincent Marceau and Niels Koelen, the Dutchman. And then we have Angus Morsdale and Philippe Varver on the 3rd row of the grid, from Rens van Pelt and Simon Henrard, Isaac Valtonen and Tony Harainen. And then outside the top 10, we have Felix Varga and Camille Proteau. Thomas Imborg, who was telling us a little bit later on under the red flags how happy he was with the way that it was organised. Danny Bunshu alongside him on that 7th row. Ross Hayes of Ireland and Mark Kimber of Great Britain, the winner at Salbris, still trying to make progress if he can. Then Kevin Stahour and Rached Ghanem with Eduardo Cosseteng and Thomas Fleming. Nicolas Bayard and Rufus Hunt. Liam Hezemans and Anthony Moonen. And Evan Bachada from Harry Barlow, Gustav Brandin and Leonardo Paniotto. So that is the grid for the penultimate race of the night. I know we've overrun just a little bit. For those of you who are still here wondering why on earth we're still racing at this late time, well, there's 2 reasons for that. One is because we had an additional practice session this morning for the senior X30s, because several of the members of the field were doing exams back in the UK, or wherever it is they're from, of course, because it wasn't just the Brits that were having to take time off yesterday. We had to do an extra practice session for them to make sure that their races were not missed. So So they basically got an additional practice session this morning, hence why the schedule has been a little bit compressed. And also we had a bit of an incident in the races earlier on today with Enzo Giraud and Henki Kalteren, which had to red flag at one of the races earlier. The good news, though, is that both of those drivers are perfectly okay. They've had a clean bill of health from the medical teams, and so it looks like we're going to be okay to see them hopefully back tomorrow. We'll double check on that one, but it is going to be a very interesting battle in front of us because we now have 2 races to go from the Senior X30 contingent today. Here we go, heading out on circuit once again. So Turney and Godefroid on the front of the grid. Marceau and Kuhlen on the second. Mulsdale and Vava on the third from Rens van Pelt and Simon Henrad. Isaac Valtonen and Tony Harainen from Felix Varga and Camille Pruteau. Thomas Imburg and Danny Bunshu. Ross Hayes and Mark Kimber. Kevin Stahauer and Rashid Ghanem. Eduardo Cosseteng and Thomas Fleming. Nicolas Bayard and Rufus Hunt. Liam Hezemans and Anthony Moonen. Evan Bachera, Harry Barlow, Gustav Brandon and Leonardo Paniotto. 28 drivers, all bidding for those last few places in the X30 Senior Brigade grid. And this is the race that will decide who is going to be in the pre-final and final for definite, who's going to be fighting in the repechage, and who will have to console themselves with a battle in the Comet Cup. So we shall find out. Just for the record, for those of you who are watching IAME X30 European Series for the first time, the drivers who make it through to the pre-final and final are the top 28 drivers guaranteed. Those ones will go through to the pre-final and final in those positions of the first pre-final grid. For the 29th to the 62nd drivers, they will be competing in the repechage, and it's only the first 6 drivers across the line in the last chance race tomorrow morning that will join the pre-final grid. And then, of course, we will have a race for the 63rd drivers downwards, of which there are only 8 this weekend. And they are going to be competing for the Comet Cup. Although, of course, considering the drivers we've had in the seniors, there may be a depleted field in that particular running because of what we have seen from Enzo Giraud and Henki Kalteren. If they are able to compete tomorrow, then hopefully they will be able to race in the Comet Cup. But obviously there is a good chance that they will elect not to do so. So we may well see what happens over the course of the racing tomorrow. There may even be the possibility that we could have those 1 or 2 drivers potentially joining the back of the last chance race. We will have to check with the regulations before we make any decisions on that front. It'll all be taken into context and circumstances. It'll be discussed amongst the drivers, of course, as well. So we will figure out how to go about it. So, the Senior X30 penultimate race of the weekend. And it's going to be Turney and Godefroid, Marceau and Kuhlen, Mulsdale and Vava, Van Pelt and Heronrad, and Valtonen and Harainen in the top 10. Plenty of other drivers further back who could be a bit of a headline stealer as we go into the races themselves. Let battle commence for the penultimate time in Senior X30. The engine revs rise. Let's race at Mariembourg. Great start from the inside line. No problems at all as Marceau is going to get into second position. The outside line's going to get hung out to dry. Godefroid now tucks back for the inside. But Angus Mulsdale has made a good start up into third position and blocks him off. Great start in the early stages. There's a little bit of bumping and boring in the mid-pack. And there's a little bit of contact there between the 275 of William Godefroid, who came together there with, I think, that was Tony Harainen trying to make his way through the field. So Godefroid and Harainen end up going a little bit further backwards down the order than they would like. But Joe Turney has got out in front and into the lead. That's exactly where he wanted to be. It's going to be very difficult for any of the other drivers to see which way he went now. So Joe Turney's going to be out in front and leading comfortably. Really exciting battles here and an absolutely terrific run. So this is going to be a great finish to the day with the Senior X30's pair of races here in Mariembourg in Belgium. But it's going to be a great race, this one, for Joe Turney out in front at the moment as he leads the proceedings. Second, Vincent Marceau. Angus Mulsdale in third from Rens van Pelt. William Godefroid, Philippe Vava, Felix Varga, Isaac Valtonen, Niels Kuhlen and Camille Pruteau. Still lots of great battling on this second lap as that was a nice little move there on Philippe Vava from Felix Varga, who moved up on another position there. So up at the front end, it's Turney, Marceau and Mulsdale. Angus Mulsdale really in one of his best performances of the 2018 season since becoming a champion in 2017. Angus Mulsdale working his magic here, trying to move up. But he is the latest of the Scottish champions to move their way forward and put on a good show. Angus Morsdale having had a really strong start to the weekend. The youngster from Scotland, he is, of course, the IAME Euro Series X30 junior champion from last year. So moving up to seniors, he's been strong, but here's a lead change up at the front. Vincent Marcerou comes up into the lead. So Vincent Marcerou gets himself there into first position in front of Joe Turney. Then Angus Morsdale, the reigning junior champion in the European Series, is now there in the senior brigade in third place as he fights his way forward. Angus Morsdale still putting on a good job at the moment. Marcerou leads. Turney second. For how much longer, though? Turney putting Marcerou under massive pressure. Marcerou is resisting at the moment. And there's a little bit of a jostle. Did you see that? There was a little bit of a bump as they came through. Joe Turney had to back out of that one. Vincent Marcerou leads the way at the moment. Joe Turney in second place. Third is Angus Morsdale. Then it's Rens van Pelt, William Godefroid, Felix Varga, Isaac Valtonen, Niels Koelen and Camille Pruteau, just in front of Philip Vavre and Thomas Imborg. They come off the chicane once again. And down the run to the first corner once again. We are into lap 4. Fastest lap of the race comes from Camille Pruteau. And here goes Turney. Makes the lunge into the first couple of corners. And Morsdale's going to go with him. Brilliant stuff. Joe Turney into the lead. And the reigning junior champion into second. Angus Morsdale does a great job there to move up into P2. Third position. A great run thus far from Vincent Marcerou. And now Angus Morsdale is going to make the lunge to take the lead. The junior champion from 2017 in the IAME X30 European Series hits the front of Senior X30 for the first time in his second weekend as a senior. Brilliant result from Angus Morsdale if he pulls this one off. But Joe Turney is right there. So Angus Morsdale's really got to put on a bit of speed to try and get away from Joe Turney. This is a brilliant run from Angus Morsdale. If he can keep this up, there is a really strong chance for him to continue to move forward. And there's a black and orange flag that's come out for somebody. It's for Rashid Ghanem, unfortunately. So Rashid Ghanem is going to be out of this race. That's a real shame. But the M-Sport driver clearly has some kind of mechanical defect with the kart. I'm going to try and spot it if he comes through past my position here on the back straight. And a couple of drivers jostling for position. Where is Rashid Ghanem's kart? It is down towards the back, I think. Where is Rashid Ghanem at the moment? He is down in 27th place and has not come through this time by. So I think he's already pulled off into the pits to retire. So he had a mechanical problem anyway. And he and Leonardo Paniotto, unfortunately, out of the race early. So Morsdale is your leader. Turney in second place. Vincent Marcerou is third. Fourth is Rens van Pelt from Felix Varga. Angus Morsdale and Joe Turney first and second, and they are trying to resist the pressure as Joe Turney goes up the inside of Morsdale. Vincent Marcerou gets through as well, and it looks like Rens van Pelt might move the third position into turn 2. He doesn't do it, so he's going to have to wait a moment. Fifth position, Felix Varga is right in there. Now Van Pelt goes for the move on Angus Morsdale, and Felix Varga goes through as well. So Morsdale was in the lead, now he's down to fifth position, but he's learning how to hustle at Senior X30 the hard way. Great racing. And now it's Turney, Marcerou, Van Pelt, Varga, and Morsdale. Lap 6. This is the halfway lap. 5 laps done, and at the end of this one, there will be 5 to go. So this is the halfway point, the lap 6. And there's a warning flag that's gone out for Simon Henrad. Not entirely sure what's happened there, but Simon Henrad has been given a little bit of a warning there by the officials, so he's going to have to be careful about that one. But here they come over the line once again, and this is going to be a lunge up the inside from Vincent Marcerou. Vincent Marcerou gets the lead there from Joe Turney. Great performance now. He's got Rens van Pelt tightening in behind. Felix Varga and Angus Morsdale in for the battle. But watch out behind because you've got Isaac Valtonen, William Godefroid, Niels Koelen and Camille Pruteau all trying to close in. And then 10th and 11th, we've got Philip Vavre and Tony Horainen trying to close up. So this race has only just got started, really. Joe Turney trying to get the move on Vincent Marcerou before Rens van Pelt comes through. It's going to be very tricky to hold on to this as they continue to battle away. Running out of time, running out of space, running out of opportunity. They all know they've got to make good work of this as Vincent Marcerou continues to battle on the far side of the circuit. And of course, we're heading towards 8 o'clock at night, so we are losing the light rapidly here. So the drivers are pushing very hard while they've got vision to see what they can do next. Rens van Pelt goes for Turney as Turney tries to turn in. That's going to compromise him. Felix Varga tried to get through and has not managed it. So Varga is squeezed there. Angus Morsdale has dropped to 6th place behind Isaac Valtonen. So Valtonen has come through into 5th position. Turney gets Pelt. Turney gets past Van Pelt, and so does Felix Varga. So Turney has dealt with Rens van Pelt having got the position back off Turney. They roll the reverse, and now Felix Varga is up to 3rd place. Valtonen in 5th behind Rens van Pelt, and Angus Morsdale still there in 6th position. The victory is going to be between one of these 6 drivers. Maseru, Turney, Varga, Van Pelt, Valtonen and Morsdale. The 7th place battle is still pretty close as well. We've got Godefroid, Kulin, Pruto, Vava and Harainen all in there. 5 of them squabbling away for 7th place. So as they come off the turn and back onto the main straight once again, this is going to be a really tricky fast 3 laps. Here comes Felix Varga. Varga goes up the inside and Varga goes through into 2nd position. Now he signals to Turney. Come on, let's go get him. Vincent Maseru leads the way. The Frenchman out in the lead. Turney's going to go up the inside of Felix Varga, and that is going to let Rens van Pelt through as well. Oh, and it's contact. Up in the air goes the man getting through for a position. Isaac Valtonen. Isaac Valtonen gets away with that one. 2 wheels up in the air. My goodness. Oh, and Simon Henrad has lost a wheel. Simon Henrad has lost a wheel up at turn 3. Now, that is a really strange accident. I didn't see what happened to Simon Henrad, but he's lost his chain guard. He's lost a wheel, which has rolled off the far side of the circuit. Now, that's not going to be a race stoppage because the marshals have already cleared it up. It's barely going to be a yellow flag, to be fair. But I just want to see where the wheel has ended up. I think the wheel has ended up at the first corner, unbelievably. 2 laps to go. And it looks like the wheel has rolled all the way down to the grass on the far side. They'll have to go and collect that before they can fix the kart, obviously. So that'll be something to do at the end of this race. But Vincent Maseru leads Joe Turney on the penultimate lap. Rens van Pelt, Isaac Valtonen, Felix Varga and Angus Morsdale. Camille Pruto, William Godefroid, Niels Kulin and Philip Vava. That is your top 10 at the moment. Still close battling all the way through. There is Simon Henrad. A rather nasty way for his race to end with a wheel coming off the kart. But thank goodness he is okay after some of the incidents we've seen today. But Vincent Maseru is your race leader, and I think he's done enough. Joe Turney is close, but not close enough. Vincent Maseru appears to have made the break at exactly the right moment. Joe Turney knows that he's only battling for 2nd place now. He moves to cover Rens van Pelt, who dives back up the inside. There's not a lot Turney can do. Rens van Pelt is through. Turney's going to try and come back at him into turn 4. Here he goes, but he's got Isaac Valtonen to his inside. Watergate's got on the inside line as well, and so too is Angus Morsdale. Turney down to 6th position. And we're not done yet. Turney's going to try and get the undercut on Morsdale, goes side by side with him, then slots back in. Now he's going to have another opportunity. But out in the lead of the race is Vincent Maseru, the Frenchman. He's going to have an absolutely terrific run. And Vincent Maseru is going to get this race in the bag as he comes through for the final couple of corners. He needs to keep this nice and stable. He's got a little bit of a gap between himself and Rens van Pelt in 2nd place. But this is all done and dusted for the Frenchman. And he really needed it. Vincent Maseru out of the final couple of turns. He takes the checkered flag. It's a Vincent Maseru showdown. Brilliant race. Terrific battle once again. Maseru, your winner from Rens van Pelt. Felix Varga comes through for 3rd position. Isaac Valtonen, Angus Morsdale and Joe Turney in the top 6. Camille Pruto 7th from William Godefroid. Niels Kulin and Philip Vava in the top 10. Brilliant run from Vincent Maseru. The Frenchman really made mincemeat of the opposition. In the last couple of minutes of the race, the last couple of laps, he suddenly saw a gap and went, right, that's mine. Thank you very much. And stamped his authority on those last 2 or 3 laps of the 11. Absolutely amazing. Good job from Vincent Maseru, the Frenchman. Absolutely deserving of the victory from Rens van Pelt and Felix Varga. Isaac Valtonen and Angus Morsdale in the top 5 from Joe Turney. And then rounding out the top 10, we have Camille Pruto, William Godefroid, Niels Kulin and Philip Vava. Tony Harainen finishes in front of Danny Bunshu. And then we've got Thomas Fleming in front of Kevin Stahauer. Ross Hayes is in front of Mark Kimber. Nicholas Bayart is there with Thomas Imborg, Anthony Moonen, Rufus Hunt, Harry Barlow, Gustav Brandon, Eduardo Cosseteng and Evan Becerra, with Liam Hesemans in 25th in front of the two retirees, Simon Henrad and Rashid Ghanem. Is this yours, mate? Ah, yes, it is. Thank you very much. I suppose you got to laugh in the face of adversity if you're Simon Henrad. Lost a wheel, but at least he got it back again. It ended up all the way on the outside of turn 1, would you believe? So it rolled a long, long way. But what a shame. It's not going to give Simon Henrad any comfort, and I don't think it's going to be something he'll be grinning about later. But just before we lose the light completely, we have just one more race to go. And that is going to be the X30 Senior Qualifying Heat BD. And that's going to be a real good fight.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality and Trade Price Cars.
Okay, so picture this. We've already had a great day of battling here at the Mariembourg circuit for the second round of the IAME European Series X30 2018. We've had some good battles in the Senior X30 Brigade. This is the 10th and last heat of the weekend thus far, and what we're going to see is a straight-out battle between Eli Goldstein, who's already been a race winner twice over the course of the day, and Sean Butcher, the Australian, who has done exactly the same thing. So you put both of those two on the same bit of racetrack and expect one of them to concede. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Then you've got to look at the calibre of the drivers behind them on that starting grid as well. With Goldstein and Butcher on the front row, you've also got the likes of Joey van Splunteren and Clayton Ravenscroft behind them on the second row of the grid. That all adds up to me to be a recipe for excitement and tension. Sim Liedmar and Henke Waldschmidt are going to be on that third row of the grid, with Harry Platten and Ben Fayers on the fourth row. You can just see Joey van Splunteren limbering up there on the second row on the second side of the grid. Clayton Ravenscroft just going over to Mario to get some clarification of something on the exit of the pits. When are we starting? Well, now, mate. Get your cart and get on with it. Third row of the grid, as we mentioned, Siim Liedmar and Henke Waldschmidt. Harry Platten and Ben Fayers are on the fourth row of the grid, with Xavier Hansane and the ever-impressive Jordanian Ali Akabi, who's been really strong over the course of the weekend. Done a fantastic job, to be fair. Sylvester Alexievas and Danny Curl are on the sixth row of the grid, with Noah Ruvers and Robin Knutson on the seventh row. Rivaldo van der Westerleken and Enzo Giroud are on the eighth row. And then it is Carlos Saval Martin and Owen Byatt on the ninth row of the grid, with Morgan Porter and Martin Hebet on the 10th row. Tom Nellison and Henke Kalteren are on the 11th row, although, of course, I doubt we're going to see a start from Henke Kalteren or from Enzo Giroud, for that matter. Jan-Philippe Springhob and Lena Buehler, Juan Carlos Hernandez Ruiz and Kilian Belair, although he won't be taking the start either. Jack Tomalin and Kamil Donic will round out the field, because we did not have a start of any kind from Fabio Kiltica, who was entered for the race but did not race. So I have a feeling we're going to be seeing an absence of these two drivers from the field, Enzo Giroud and Henke Kalteren, who, if you've only just joined us and you're watching the end of proceedings, we had a rather nasty accident earlier on involving those two drivers. They have been checked over by the medics, and I can tell you that their report is that they are okay, which is very good news indeed. Now, who is that is heading away very late? That's Simon Henrad going around the back to stop these drivers from being delayed. They didn't want to be delayed, so they sent them around the back of the holding area rather than go across the dummy grid, as it were. But the drivers are waiting to go out. They'll get the command from Mario at the end of the pits, and they will go out bang on the hour, 8 p.m. local time. And that's going to be the last race of the day. It's got to be, because we're losing the light fairly rapidly here. And obviously, we've been a little bit more delayed than we were going to be. But we were going to have a long schedule anyway, based on the fact that we had to do additional Senior X30 practice sessions to accommodate for the youngsters who are still doing their academia and examinations. So a lot of them are of course, GCSE or equivalent standard level age. So they had to do their exams yesterday and then dash onto a boat or a plane to dash it to get to the second round of the championship. And fair play to the man on the second row of the grid. Considering he did no practice yesterday, he arrived here in his motorhome 25 hours ago, actually, because he arrived at 7 o'clock yesterday evening. Clayton Ravenscroft has acquitted himself very well and has already had a runner-up spot in the heats over the course of today. He finds himself on the second row of the grid, and Clayton Ravenscroft is one of those drivers. If he has to do things by halves, he just shrugs and says, okay, I'll get on with it, no probs. And he's got that lion streak. I've compared him many times to a young Nigel Mansell, and I stand by that comparison. It's very, very akin to watching him. However, they've all got to beat these two on the front row of the grid. Ely Goldstein and Sean Butcher, who have already got 2 wins apiece. Now, one of them has got to concede defeat. Neither of them is going to be in the mood to do that because they're having an absolutely incredible weekend's run. Sean Butcher, the Australian, who also races in the British Championships back home in the Mick Barrett Racing awning, really enjoying himself here at Mariembourg. Ely Goldstein, well, he has the local knowledge, of course, and has been absolutely electric since the start of the weekend, so he does not want to lose ground. Goldstein and Butcher on the front row of the grid then. Van Splinteren and Ravenscroft on the second row. Liedmar and Waldschmidt on the third. Platten and Fayers on the fourth row. Hansheim and Ackerby. Then it's Alexievas and Danny Curl, the world champion. Noah Rouvers and Robin Knutson. Rivaldo van der Westerleken will be alone on the eighth row. There will be no Anzo Giraud on this race. Carlos Saval-Martin and Owen Byatt on the ninth. Morgan Porter and Martin Ibet on the 10th row. Tom Nellison will be alone on the 11th row as Henke Kelteren will not start. Jan-Philipp Springob, Lena Bueller. Juan Carlos Hernandez Ruiz is alone because he won't share that 13th row with Kilian Belair. And then Jack Tomalin and Camille Donich on the 14th row. There will be a non-start from Fabio Kiltica because he has yet to show. So the racers are now getting themselves around the circuit in formation for the first and second formation laps, and then we will have the last 11 laps of the day. 15.026 kilometres of racing around this absolutely spellbinding 1,366 metre circuit here in Mariembourg. It's long, it's tight, it's twisty. There's a lot of overtaking opportunities here. In terms of the pound-for-pound race action, it is one of the best racetracks in the world for this type of international motorsport. And I have to say, we've been welcomed with open arms by the Royal Automobile Club of Belgium, and their officials and their marshals who've been cooperating with RGMMC have been absolutely formidable. It's great to see the Royal Automobile Club of Belgium being so welcoming and so warm and inviting to us. We're very proud to have come here. It's a wonderful circuit. We all enjoy coming. And myself, as a first-timer to the Karting de Fagnes International Raceway, I am particularly impressed. And there are a few karting circuits back home in Blighty who could learn a lot from this place. Absolutely brilliant. So Goldstein, Butcher, Van Spunteren, Ravenscroft, Liedmar, Waldschmidt, Platten, Fayers, Hansheim and Ackerby. Then we have Alexievas, Curl, Rouvers, Knutson, Van der Westerleken. Then it should be Saval-Martin and Byatt, Porter and Hebet, Nellison, Springob, Bueller, Hernandez Ruiz, Tomalin and Donich. And those are the drivers that will go to battle for the last time here tonight before we go into the pre-finals and finals tomorrow. For these drivers, it's a chance to get out of the pre-final banter and go into the actual grid to stay out of the last chance and to go absolutely nowhere near the Comet Cup race tomorrow. Here we go. Time to go racing, and they're going to go round again. They're going to go round again. Well, I'm told they're going to go round again because I think there was a call for it from Ely Goldstein on the first turn, so I assumed there was going to be, but no, we're racing. Goldstein is there in the lead. Henke Waldschmidt has come up in his second position. Joey Van Splinteren's made a cracking start. He's into third place. Sean Butcher down to fourth. Then it's the 3-2-5 of Ben Fayers. Ben Fayers has made an absolutely corking good start there from, what was he on, the fourth row of the grid. So Fayers has already made up 3 places. Cracking start from the Englishman. So as they come through once again, there is the battle as Clayton Ravenscroft runs around with Danny Curl. Not the greatest of starts then from Clayton Ravenscroft as he has dropped down a few places, but he can make that back. He's got good speed. Well, now down to 27 degrees as the clouds have come in over the circuit to finish off the day. And the light is fading quickly, so they've got to be so careful about positioning their karts in the right part of the circuit. It's Goldstein who leads it. Waldschmidt in second, up to third place. That is Joey Van Spunteren. Sean Butcher now trying to make the move, working with him to move closer to the 2 up front. Fifth position, that is now Ben Fayers from Ravenscroft, Curl, Liedmar, Hansheim and Ackerby. A good little tussle there as Butcher loses time from behind Joey Van Splinteren. Ben Fires is up to fourth place. Clayton Ravenscroft moves up to fifth position. And then Sean Butcher down to sixth. Here comes Ben Fires. Fires makes the move on Joey Van Splinteren. Doesn't leave him a lot of space for manoeuvre. The two teammates collide there. And Fires is now going to try and squeeze Ravenscroft. Ravenscroft goes up and over. Goes over the grass and has lost several places. Ravenscroft not having the greatest of runs this time. And now it's a free-for-all as the drivers battle away to move up the order. All jostling and shaking around for position. Several drivers really struggling there, but only two have broken clear. That is Eli Goldstein and Henke Waldschmidt. So Eli Goldstein, the young 14-year-old, is battling away with a former Formula One test driver for Toyota, Henke Waldschmidt, in second place, trying to chase down the 14-year-old pretender to the crown. 14 years old, the youngest man in the field, Eli Goldstein, and doing an absolutely incredible job at the front of the Senior X30 brigade. There's a good squabble going on further back as we've got several karts trying desperately to stay off the grass on lap 3 of 11. And there's a warning flag, actually, for Henke Waldschmidt. Now, what on earth is Waldschmidt supposed to have done? I didn't see that one, unfortunately. So, apparently, Waldschmidt has been given a warning for something. And as long as it's only a warning, he can keep battling. So, a very interesting way to spice things up towards the end of this race. But Eli Goldstein, Henke Waldschmidt, and in third place, Joey Van Splinteren is your order at the moment. Ben Fires still trying to come past his teammate. There's the warning flag for Waldschmidt. He realises it's for him. He's got to change his style a little bit by the look of it. Up to third place now has come Sean Butcher. Sean Butcher, the Australian, has come up past Joey Van Splinteren. So these two out front, Goldstein and Waldschmidt, still trying to get away from the rest of the field. Then it is Sean Butcher in third position. There he is. And the fastest lap of the race comes from Harry Platten, the Team BMR racer. So a good run there from Harry Platten as he continues to battle away. Up on the far side of the circuit, Goldstein, Waldschmidt, Butcher, Van Splinteren, Fayers. And then in sixth position, that is Danny Curl, finally getting his mojo together as he puts himself up into sixth place. Into the left, into the right, and Henke Waldschmidt on the back of Eli Goldstein. Into the right-hander, and then flying out through the left to come back onto the main straight once again. Flat on the throttle, Waldschmidt still hampering Eli Goldstein's every move as they come through. Butcher's safe and clear in third position. Van Splinteren fourth from Fayers, Curl, Liedmar, Hansheim, Alexievas and Ali Akabi. Harry Platten through to 11th place in front of Carlos Saval-Martin, who's making good progress. Ravenscroft now 13th in front of Martin Hebet. So a frustrating race this one for Clayton Ravenscroft as he finds himself outside the top 10. Saval-Martin is now trying to make a move on Harry Platten, who is the fastest driver of the race at the present moment in time, I do believe. Well, he certainly was. Now it's the 3:04 of Sean Butcher, who is the fastest man on the circuit, as we're on lap 5 of 11. There's Danny Curl, the reigning world champion, chasing down Ben Fayers, his countryman. But these two out front, still together. Eli Goldstein, Henke Waldschmidt, Sean Butcher, Joey Van Splinteren, Ben Fayers and Danny Curl in the top 6. Then it's Liedmar, Hansheim, Alexievas, Akabi, Platten, Saval-Martin, Ravenscroft, Hebet, Ruvers, Byatt, Knudsen and Van der Westerlaken. Danny Curl once again under pressure, this time from Siim Liedmar, the Estonian, who's really working hard to close him down into the hairpin at turns 2 and 3. A double apex, that one. But they're going to have to work very closely to come off of 4 to get onto the terms of Ben Fayers, who I have to say has really stepped up to the plate in this last race of the day. And this is going to be a good opportunity for him to put himself in a good position for the pre-final tomorrow. But Eli Goldstein and Henke Waldschmidt are out on their own. And there's enough distance between Goldstein and Waldschmidt to be very comfortable at the moment. So Eli Goldstein knows that Waldschmidt is there, is still piling on the pressure and still pushing as hard as he can. He knows that Henke Waldschmidt is not going to go away. But the former Formula 3 and Formula Renault Euro Cup race winner is going to put him under some massive pressure. And Eli Goldstein knows that. He's under no illusion. We're on the halfway point just gone. And now there are 5 laps to go. Goldstein, Waldschmidt, Butcher, Van Splinteren, Fayers and Danny Curl. Fastest lap of the race for Sean Butcher that time by just did a 56.462. Butcher has left the battle behind him for dead. Joey Van Splinteren has pulled away from the 5th place battle. So 3rd and 4th look pretty much sewn up. The victory's not done yet. Goldstein in first position from Venke Waldschmidt. Here's the battle for fifth. It's Ben Fayers, Danny Curl and Sim Liedmar, the Estonian. Behind them, they've got a bit of a challenge coming from the Belgian Xavier Hansheim. And then Ali Akabi, the Jordanian, is trying to hold off from Sylvester Alexievas, Carlos Saval Martin, Harry Platten and Clayton Ravenscroft. But Danny Curl now has a good opportunity on Ben Fayers to come through in the last 4 laps of this race to put himself firmly in the top 5. Here they come, the leaders. Goldstein and Waldschmidt. No problems at all for the moment. Through the hairpin and up towards turn 4. This is not a bad run at all from Goldstein. Hanging on in front of Henke Waldschmidt, who has so many more years experience than Eli Goldstein. Goldstein just 14 years of age, don't forget. Whereas Henke Waldschmidt has been in the world of karting, come out of it as a champion. He was the French ICA champion and the Italian ICA champion back in 2004 before heading into the F3 European Series after 2 campaigns in the Formula Renault 2-litre Euro Cup. And then, of course, got his testing chance with the Toyota Formula 1 team. Now he has got a hot young whippersnapper to try and overtake in Eli Goldstein. The battle for 5th position is really hotting up now because we've got Fayers, Curl, Liedmar, Hansheim, Alexievas, Akabi and Saval Martin all starting to queue up in there as well. Harry Platten and Clayton Ravenscroft are in that mix too. As they come through all together, the back of the queue is actually Clayton Ravenscroft, and then there's Martin Hebert, Noah Ruvers and Owen Byatt looking to join it. Morgan Porter, Rivaldo van der Westerlaken and Robin Knutson are not far away. Then it's Nilsson, Hernandez Ruiz, Bueller, Springob, Donic and Tomalin. So the 25 that are still going strong. Eli Goldstein looking like he's going to wrap this one up, but Henke Waldschmidt still pushing with 3 to go. Henke Waldschmidt, fastest of all in the first sector. Does a 10.516. They're both quick in the second sector. They both set personal bests, Goldstein and Waldschmidt, in the second sector, but not the fastest times of all. So there's not much to choose between them, but Goldstein might just have enough here to shake off Waldschmidt. Sean Butcher desperately trying to go with them in the possibility that he might get a second place. Goldstein, Waldschmidt and Butcher, 2 to go. And I'm not sure Waldschmidt's close enough to Eli Goldstein. A lot of people said what a great result it would be for the youngster who knows this place so well to get a victory. Well, Eli Goldstein has already had 2 of them in the heats, and now he's looking for a third, and that would almost certainly put him in contention to be pole position for the Senior X30 pre-final tomorrow. So let's see how that works out. 2 laps to go. Well, a lap and a half now. Goldstein just doing what he does best, driving laps of Mariembourg. Through the left-hander, up towards the tight left hairpin. In through the left, in through the right. The top 3 looks pretty much settled. Joey van Splunteren unable to keep up with them this time. He's there in 4th position. But then we got the Fayers, Curl, Alexievas, Liedmar, Ravenscroft, Akabi battle. Because Ravenscroft's moved up quite a few places on that last lap. Here we go, last lap, and that's the battle further back. You can see that there's a few mechanics there with you've got a decent gap. Don't worry about it. That's what that signal meant. But Eli Goldstein is on course to make it 3 race wins so far in today's action. A really strong performance in Senior X30. We've seen some fantastic performances. Goldstein was second to Nicolas Pico in the first race of the day. Then in the second race, he ended up watching from the sidelines, but a brilliant battle for Goldstein as he took the win earlier on. This is actually going to be his second win if he pulls this off. My apologies, not the third, but it's nonetheless impressive. Eli Goldstein is going to get the job done once again. The young gun has been absolutely superb all day long, and now he is genuinely a contender for the second round of the championship. Heading into tomorrow, Eli Goldstein can breathe a sigh of relief. He takes another fantastic victory. Eli Goldstein is looking good on home soil here as he gets the victory. Henke Waldschmidt in second from Sean Butcher. 4th for Joey van Splunteren. 5th is Danny Curl. 6th, Sylvester Alexievas, the Lithuanian. 7th is Ben Fayers from Clayton Ravenscroft in 8th place. 9th position for Sim Liedmar and 10th for the Jordanian Ali Akabi. Great result there in the top 10. Great performance from Eli Goldstein. And just in time, because the light is fading fast. But the local man has put himself top dog here on the Saturday night at the IAME European Series in Mariembourg. And at 8:15 in the evening, he has absolutely and totally romped to another victory. So Goldstein wins it from Henke Waldschmidt in second. Sean Butcher is third from Joey Van Splunteren in fourth place. Danny Curl in fifth position in front of Sylvester Alexievas. Then Ben Fayers and Clayton Ravenscroft in eighth position. Siem Liedmar is ninth in front of Ali Ackerby. 11th position, Harry Platten in front of Martin Hebet in 12th place. Noah Roovers, Morgan Porter, Owen Byatt, Carlos Saval Martin, Rivaldo van der Westerlaken in 17th from Robin Knutson, Tom Nellison and Juan Carlos Hernandez Ruiz from Jan Philipp Springhob, Lena Bueller, Camille Donich and Jack Tomelin. The one retirement from the race was Xavier Hanse. Sorry, not the retirement, but dropped back to 25th. Well, so many chapters, so many great races that we've written over the course of the day. 22 of them in total, and there's been absolutely incredible racing here at Mariembourg. All you have to do is tune in first thing again tomorrow morning, because we've got some great races from each of the four classes, from X30 Mini, Junior, Senior and Super Shifter, and that will all kick off with the second chance heats at 9:50 local time. We will go back on the air tomorrow, as we've got so much to talk about. The second round of the championship is well and truly on, and we're going to have a fantastic day in the sunshine again, hopefully tomorrow. So make sure you tune in here on Telemundi Media and, of course, via Downforce UK on the Spreaker application. And here trackside, this is Jake Sanson signing off from the start-finish straight at the Mariembourg circuit in Belgium. What a fantastic day of action it's been. Tomorrow is only going to get better.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.